So I've recently made this observation, Steve, that when you are a person who keeps extremely late hours, maybe because you've been out playing concerts or whatever, and you're the kind of person that likes to get pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Sounds familiar, all this.
It becomes increasingly easier and easier to turn your house into an escape room.
Okay.
Because there's days where you wake up the morning after of, like last night, I went to bed at like 4:30 because I had a show, and it's like I didn't get ripped during the show and drive home or anything like that. Like I had a couple beers during the show, but by the time I got home, I was still like pretty worked up and fired up from the show and stuff. I knew I had to get up early today. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to knock back a few drinks before I head to bed, And you wake up in the morning sometimes, and like the object of the escape room that you've turned your house into is, where the fuck are my keys and wallet? I need to leave and go to the store.
Right.
And so you have to, just like in an escape room, start looking for like a trail of clues.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, on the kitchen table.
And trying to remember through the black periods.
Yeah.
What was I doing?
Yeah. So you start looking around for evidence, like, okay, there's a Twix wrapper on the table.
So that was me.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. That means that I did go to the pantry.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay.
So it might be in there.
Yeah, I'll go in the pantry and I'm like, okay, I don't see keys anywhere, but I do see a bracelet that I took off and an earring.
So I'm on the trail.
Yeah. So then you start trying to like backtrack through your house to find a trail of clothes. There's another bracelet. Okay, there's some tights. Because you're just trying to escape and leave your own house. Trying to put together the pieces of whatever the fuck you did last night. Welcome, Dead and Lovely listeners, to the greatest horror movie review podcast and all the known multiverse. It's Dead and Lovely here with the host with the most. It's me, Pennywises, the dancing uncle.
Holy shit.
Otherwise known as Uncle Ben.
And me, Hollywood, Steve Spratling.
Woo, man, that's an enthusiastic woo right there.
Yeah.
How you been doing this week, Stu?
Pretty great.
Yeah? I've just been busier than a puppy with two Peters, if you know what I mean, because I don't know what I mean.
I'm not sure.
I'm kind of hoping you could explain it to me.
They're probably busy.
Probably just means really busy.
Yeah.
Pissing on everything in town.
Yeah, a lot of peeing, probably.
Probably a lot of that. Yeah, I have just been run ragged, Steve. Just run ragged.
Yeah, you've been doing a whole lot.
I've been doing a whole lot.
I've also been busy, not run ragged busy, but I've been a little bit busy.
Yeah.
I got a little bit more free time this week than you did.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, run on.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you one very imperative, important question here, Steve.
Let's hear it.
Are you thirsty?
And I am Thursday.
Oh my God, it's Thirsty Thursday? I think
Thirsty Thursday.
We should maybe get ourselves a pull.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Let's do it.
I want to get myself a drink in my belly here before we start hearing about what we've been up to this week.
I agree.
Now, Steve, where did this Coney Island Brewing Company Call Your Mother IPA come from?
Lamar Ortiz.
Lamar Ortiz. Thank you so much, Lamar. You're better than we deserve. This is brewed in collaboration with Coheed and Cambria, the band.
Yeah. My wife's a big fan. The stuff I've heard from them is fine. It's like Rush, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, my thing with Coheed is, honestly, I like their concept better than the music. Because, like, I don't know if you know about all that stuff, but every album has been like a chapter in this comic book, crazy sci-fi kind of story that
I have
writing.
heard about this, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been going on and on for forever now. Maybe they've changed course, but I know as of several years ago, every fucking record was a continuation of the story. And to me, that's so like nerdy and proggy, like Rush or something. But they've always kind of like reeled the music in to be a little bit more palatable than say
Rush.
Rush. Yeah, like they've not done 2112 or anything like that yet. That's just like, okay, only nerds will listen to this. But I do enjoy what they do, and they got good production, great guitar tones. I'm about to find out how this beer that they brew is.
That guy also sounds like Geddy Lee pretty well.
He's got that high voice.
Yeah, it's fun.
The thing about a high voice on a man is, it's like, to me, it has to sound effortless.
Right. It shouldn't sound like you're straining to sing like that.
Yeah. Like even like James LaBrie from Dream Theater, to me, sounds like a guy who is really wrestling to sing high.
Right.
But when you listen to like vintage Geddy Lee, or you listen to Claudio from Coheed, it's like,
it's just
he just sings that high.
That's how
John Anderson
sound.
from Yes is the same way. My God, just an effortless high voice.
What's his name from Journey? Fuck.
Yeah, man. Steve Perry.
Yeah.
The best, man. Oh my God. This beer is cloudy concoction. This is like some old sink water right here.
Oh, it smells good though.
Yeah. Doesn't quite smell like sink water from my experience.
Yeah, it does. I'd say sink water is a pretty accurate, because it's like, it's so cloudy, but then like dark in the middle, like there's something going on.
Yeah, what's going on? There's a hidden layer of funk inside of this beer.
I'm excited. So, let's
Coney
go
Island. Whiskers deep in this thing and find out what it's about. I'm hoping that it's something good. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah.
There's
it
a
gets
flavor.
nice and fruity. Starts out resiny, but then turns out fruity, a little citrusy.
Very much. You've used the term fruit punchy on many an occasion.
Fruit punchy.
This is very fruit punchy to me, man. Yeah, a lot of these that we have are just very, grapefruity and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a thick, full-bodied beer. What's the ABV on that motherfucker?
Looks like 7.5. So
okay, so it's got some substance to it.
Yeah, pretty good IPA.
Wow. Well, that's pretty damn fantastic. I honestly can't say I would compare that to any other beer that we've had here on the show.
No.
That's very interesting. It's fruity, but it's not too sweet is the thing.
Yeah, that's what's making me happy, is it's not too sweet. Because we just had a little jalapeno margarita. Yeah.
And that was good.
Be on the lookout for a video, a Patreon exclusive video of Ben making these awesome jalapeno pineapple margaritas. But they're a little bit sweet. And this is nice. It's balanced. I wouldn't say it's dry. It's just not overly sweet.
Yeah, or overly dry. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for getting us that beer.
Thanks, Lamar.
Yeah, man. That's awful good of you.
Wow.
So, you've been watching anything good this week, Steve?
Yeah, I watched Ma.
Okay, so that's the one about the lady who befriends the kids and has them over to the house and stuff.
I remember it was not what I expected.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was curious about it because, we got bombarded with previews for it there for
and it looked
many
like
moons.
It was pretty clear exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and I was kind of wondering if, I figured it was either exactly what they were showing us or a total misdirect.
It's a little misdirect, but I think it stood on its own. Like it overcame my fears from the previews, and it was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. I mean, Octavia Spencer's awesome.
She is awesome, man. Yeah. She's great.
So she does great, and the kids, I mean, it kind of reminded me more of a well-constructed 80s cast, where you don't really know most of the kids, but they do their job. You might not know everybody from a Friday the 13th movie, but they're fine.
Yeah.
But Octavia Spencer, she's got all the meaty stuff to do, and she's badass in it. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Was it scurry?
Not for me, not necessarily. I mean, it's got, a lot of that tension build up and maybe a couple of earned jump scares, but it's not like psychologically bent too much or anything. So not for me, it wasn't very scary, but it was a fun watch.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious about it. I think I'll have to check that one out because I was somewhat intrigued by the previews. Yeah. What else you been watching?
So I found this YouTube channel called Cultaholic.
Is that maybe about different religious cults?
No, it's about professional wrestling.
That's okay. Yeah. So that's a little bit of a misdirect.
Yeah.
It's about wrestling. Okay.
Yeah, it's some British folks putting together
a bunch of old red coats.
Them red coats over them damn lobsters.
Damn limeys.
Basically, it's, average YouTube stuff, top 10 lists, where are they now type of things. But it's really fun, well put together. I think they know wrestling well, and so it shines through. I really like the ones where they rank every WrestleMania or every Royal Rumble and stuff like that. They're really fun.
Sounds like a pretty fun watch.
And because of that, I watched, they ranked every Royal Rumble, and Royal Rumble 92 is one that is generally considered by most people to be the best Royal Rumble ever.
Now, why would that be, Steve? Was there a segment where they said, "Oi, he got a pile driver, didn't he?"
Well, at one point, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Roddy Piper,
holy shit,
and Tito Santana were all in the ring.
Holy moly.
And this is when this is like right after HBK threw Marty Jannetty through the plate glass window.
Oh, man. Yeah. Dude, the heel turn that just shattered my childhood.
So this is like the beginning of his solo career. And he does the Sweet Chin music, but they just call it a crescent kick. It hasn't even been So it's Undertaker had just come recently.
Yeah.
91, I think, was when Undertaker showed up, or 90. Hogan was on his downturn where it was people were tired of him winning all the time. Piper had just in that night won the Intercontinental title from the Mountie.
Oh, dude, the Piper Mountie feud.
It was a fucking great one.
Dude, I totally remember all that shit.
Dude, if you watch it, everybody that comes out, there's maybe 2 people that you'll be like, not an icon, but still somebody I know, like Nikita Volkov or something.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Not an icon, but I know who the fuck he is.
You didn't want to be him when you grew up, but you still knew who he was.
Yeah, so it's just like icon after icon, and Ric Flair came in third. He was, I guess technically since they start with 2 in the ring, he's the first to come in after those 2. And actually, by the way, the beginning of the match is Ted DiBiase and British Bulldog, and Ted DiBiase is fucking laying it to British Bulldog. Like, I'm not saying like, I'm saying like, if you know anything about wrestling, you know when a suplex is a little stiff.
Yeah.
You know when like they're going at him, because Davey Boy Smith was like a rookie basically, and Ted DiBiase was showing him like, I don't care how big you are, because he's gigantic in this match. Like, he's so huge and like just brutal, knocking people out of the ring and shit. Awesome stuff.
That's cool.
But then, Flair comes in as the third person and wins it. And this was one that was actually for the title. So it had like real stakes instead of just a title shot. So Flair goes from 3 to 30, wins, gets the title. It's pretty fucking cool. And he did a lot of great heel stuff, like going under the bottom rope and stuff that hadn't really been done before 92. Because if you don't go over the top rope, technically you're not out.
Yeah.
And you can't be counted out in a Royal Rumble, so just go out.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, it's a heel move.
The rule bending there, huh?
Yeah, it's not a face type of thing, but it really, like, Flair's just so fucking good. So awesome.
Yeah, man. Dang, I need to watch that. Is it like is it on YouTube or something?
Where did I watch it? It was on something. Okay. If you just look it up, it'll come in the videos of like Google results. It'll be one of the videos.
Seek and ye shall find.
Yeah. It's great. It's like an hour long and just fucking awesome.
How was the stream last night? I was too busy boogie woogie and playing disco and funk and stuff with the boogie nights last night to join in.
So it was fun. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, always.
But the movies were particularly shit.
Was this the first time that we've done it on Discord since Facebook shut down?
No, it was the second time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the move to Discord has lost a few people. More people have Facebook than Discord. I get that.
But if you want to join in, it's free. It's
really
a totally free app. It's just another fucking messaging app. Whatever.
And
just get it.
As far as I understand, they aren't tracking you in the same way that all the other social media sites are, though eventually I'm sure they will be.
Yeah.
We watched Killing American Style.
Okay, I've heard of this, but never watched it. I don't even know what the fuck it's about.
It's by the director of Samurai Cop, which we watched last week. And I'll tell you this,
start.
It's basically just a Samurai Cop remix. Like, same locations, same, like, fights and stuff. Robert Zadar's in it.
So same actors.
Yeah, it ends with Robert Zadar and the main guy fighting each other, which is the exact ending of Samurai Cop. Like, it's all pretty much the exact same.
Wow.
I never really got a full understanding of what the plot was. Basically, some guys had robbed a delivery place or something.
Okay.
And they got, I don't know how much money they got, but it couldn't have been worth it. And there were like 5 of them, so the split would have been like, I don't know, a couple $100. But then they're like, no, we're going to hole up in this mansion and shoot people and shit. It's like, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
People are doing things for a reason. I don't know. Just start shooting.
Yeah. And then we watched Order of the Black Eagle.
Order of the Black Eagle. That sounds pretty fucking dark and intense.
It's about Nazis coming back in South America and holing up in a fucking Aztec temple.
That sounds awesome.
It sounds awesome, but it sure ain't.
Oh, no. Really? So they set it up and just did not nail the dismount or what?
No, it could have been fun, I think. I mean, it was fun because it was so bad, but that's a pretty interesting idea. I'd like to see where that goes. But it was like a James Bond type of thing, too.
Oh.
Like the main character is something Jax. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, he kept doing Bond shit, and it was just like, this guy is not impressive to me.
Not selling it to you. Yeah. Damn, man.
But, I mean, it had some promise. It just... The thing is, we totally got away from horror movies last night. Like, both of the movies are action movies.
Yeah.
So, we gotta get back to horror movies, but it was fun.
Awesome, man. That's a good time. Yeah, I was having myself a good time. Like I said, laying down the boogie and the funk and the disco action last night. So them boogie nights, which is always a really fun time. Yeah. Got to try out my new Rev D20 amp.
Looking dope.
Oh, it's just so pristine and glorious. Mm-hmm. Looking all fancy, and it sounded all kinds of fancy too.
Awesome.
Apparently, though, the show that like I really needed to be playing with them was the last show that they played. which, like I said, they just play like disco and funk and dance stuff, right? They said that last time that they played a full-on 2-man like ECW wrestling match broke out during Tiny Dancer.
What? That's awesome.
I know. I was like, why couldn't I have been here for that show? Just 2 guys brawling while a cover band plays Tiny Dancer.
Close. Tiny Dancer.
Yeah, while 2 guys are just slugging it, man. I mean, of all the songs in the set that we play, I'm just trying to think, like, what groovy dance song would I maybe start a fight to? I think maybe, like, Hollywood Swingin'. Hollywood Swingin'. I'd be swinging too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Man,
Disco Duck for me.
Oh yeah, Disco Duck.
Yeah, Disco Duck. I'm just ready to rail somebody. Bring it on.
I could maybe throw a haymaker to perhaps Strokin'. I'll be stroking. We actually don't play that song, but we really should. I'll be stroking.
I mean, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Obviously we should. Yeah, good times. It has been just a super phenomenally hectic week over here for me. So I've not had time to watch shit. Like, I think that we maybe watched an episode of Friends one night. That one.
That's the one? Okay.
We watched the one with that song at the first of it.
Oh, okay. I remember that episode. Yeah,
that's the one. It's the one that has
the one that has that song.
Yeah. That, and I think that's basically it. Watched a few like Try Guys videos. Have you watched any of the Try Guys like compare videos where they try to see like which chain does the best custom birthday cake or whatever?
Yes, I have. I saw the one where they sent Zach to get his face made in sandwich.
Into a sandwich, yeah. And the assistant guy, Miles, was like in full goth gear. That cracked me the fuck up. Funny. I love that, man. Yeah, they just put up one the other day of like which place does the best custom makeover. It's hilarious.
You got to check that one out.
You definitely got to check it out. Really good times. Love them Try Guys.
Yeah, they're funny.
Love that Joker. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, the subject of our show today.
What it is?
It is going to be review the 19 and 2017, as it's called.
19 and 2017
version of Stephen King's It, Part 1, because
19,000 years into the future. And it turns out they remade it again. And we're reviewing it.
And this, of course, is in anticipation of It Part 2.
Yeah.
Coming out here really soon, which I am very stoked about.
Me too. Yeah, I'd love to see the conclusion of this. I remember in the book and in the 1990 It miniseries, the kid part is the best part.
Yes.
So they got an uphill climb.
They do. They do. And you know, this is really it's going to be fighting the same problems as the original miniseries because the kids are just so charismatic.
Yeah.
And you just automatically care about them and are worried about them because they're kids.
Yeah. And
so then like the OG really dropped the ball when it came to the adult parts. I mean, I think that pretty much universally, all of us that watched that when we were kids and stuff, and remember how great and scary it was.
Other than Mike. Mike is probably the only good casting in there where it really
feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that pretty much universally, everybody that goes back and rewatches it is like, yeah, really just the first part was good.
Yeah.
Even the director said he hated the second part, you know? So hopefully the new one rights those wrongs and can pull it off.
Considering its runtime, I'm assuming they are going to get more into the background, and I really do hope they get into Cosmic Turtles.
Okay, that's something that I'm really wondering about.
Because this movie does a lot more background exposition than the miniseries did.
It does.
Though it doesn't do it like, it's not so overt. Like, you know, you get...
It's not heavy-handed.
Yeah, you get Ben talking about all the stuff he's been studying, but it's like, you kind of pick up a lot of things from him looking at those books and stuff. Like, it's not said out loud, it's just in the book. If you pay attention, you learn, like, you know, about this Easter explosion, or you know, you hear him talk about the 91 people who signed the charter and then disappeared. Like, that's all interesting stuff. You want to be able to, because if Pennywise has been doing this every 27 years, you want to be able to trace it somewhat. Like, what else has he done?
Yeah. And they didn't really go into that in the original miniseries, did they? And of course, we reviewed the original miniseries on episode blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, back in the day.
Really early on. I think we did it right before.
It was before the original, the part one came out. So 2017, like August or September, maybe?
I think so. Yeah, so that probably would have been in the maybe the 20s or something like that.
Early days.
Yeah. Early in the youth of the show. When we were just kids. Like this. Oh my God, Steve, I got a pube this week. Did you get a pube?
Yeah, totally. I got like 5 of them.
Oh my God, what's happening to my voice? I belong on the island of misfit toys. And you know, Steve, one of the things that this movie really did very well is smash people's expectations about the recasting of Tim Curry's iconic Pennywise.
Yeah.
Which I think we can pretty much all agree is the best part of the miniseries.
Yes.
Tim Curry as Pennywise is amazing.
A lot of things Tim Curry's in, he's the best part.
Yeah, extremely true.
Yeah.
Very, very, very true. So going into this, considering that most of us had our childhoods destroyed by Tim Curry as this scary clown,
right?
The recasting of him as Bill Skarsgård was really worrisome for a lot of people. And I even remember, like, whenever they started showing production stills of, like, kind of the egg-headed Pennywise the Clown, people were just like, oh, I already fucking hate this.
That
looks
ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like a guy in a clown costume.
Yeah, really, right? But, you know, this movie really did shatter those expectations because he does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But it's not the first time that we've had a major, shake-up, maybe controversial Hollywood recast that turned out pretty damn well.
Yes, it has happened several times. And we came up with some pretty good examples.
Yeah, damn right that we did. So I say before we get into our review ski of It Ski, let's slide on into the Preview Palace ski.
Welcome to the Preview Palace.
Ski.
Ski.
And we're going to be talking about some of our favorite recasts in Hollywood history. We're not necessarily saying that these people are better than their originals or anything like that.
We're saying it's a debate you could have. One could debate which of them is better, meaning they're on equal footing in some way.
Yeah, definitely. And also, too, that, a lot of these that we're talking about kind of took a different spin on maybe how the original character was portrayed, much like Skarsgård did with Pennywise. Yes. And it just kind of depends on what you're after out of that character.
Yeah, and I think the primary example of that would be Jack Nicholson's Joker and Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
And this is the exact same situation where people were like, how could you follow up Jack Nicholson's Joker?
Yeah, and then whenever it was announced that it's just like, and it's the guy from fucking 10 Things I Had About You?
Yeah.
No way this is going to be any good.
Yeah.
And it was.
And what they both did smartly, what both Bill Skarsgård and Heath Ledger did smartly was not try to do.
Yeah.
Not try to be Jack Nicholson or Tim Curry, to do something different.
Yeah.
To come at it from a completely different angle. And in fact, Heath Ledger's Joker inspired Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise.
Wow.
So,
I can completely see that now that you mention it. And the other important thing that I think both of those guys did is they tried to make the version of that character that works for the movie that they're in.
Right.
Because even though Tim Curry's Pennywise was obviously amazing and terrifying, if you had him in that costume acting like that same way, going, kiss me, fat boy.
It wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't really work. And
this is a much darker film than the 1990 miniseries.
Exactly.
Where you could see a guy dressed as Bozo the Clown, and he can also be menacing.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, if you put Skarsgård's, Pennywise in the original, it'd be like, why is this so fucked up, And I feel the same way about the portrayal of Jack Nicholson's Joker versus Heath Ledger's Joker. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to say which one is better because they're both so perfectly suited for their movie. Right.
Yes. Yeah, Jack Nicholson fits perfectly into a Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah, it's a little wackadoo. It's still like kind of comic booky. It's allowed to be over the top, especially when you had Batman being so stoic and serious. It made sense to have this foil that was ridiculous and zany and crazy like Jack Nicholson played him.
Yeah, I think both of them were able to play off of their own Batman, which is another good recast.
Yeah.
Going from George Clooney to what's his name?
Oh, what's his face? A Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
But, we've had a lot of other Batmans throughout Bat history. I don't think I've ever asked you this. Who is your Batman?
What's the guy? The voice of Batman from
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, that's kind of the best, honestly.
Yeah, he's my favorite Batman.
Yeah.
I think 2 out of 4 Batman in the movies.
5.
We got Ben Affleck in there. Ben Affleck, I think, is good though.
Honestly,
I think he plays well as a grizzled Batman. I think he does a good job. So
I think
3 out of the 5, and George Clooney wasn't bad as Bruce Wayne. But as Batman, he just didn't have an edge. He was too smooth.
Yeah, exactly. And Val Kilmer was kind of the opposite, where it's like, well, I don't know. He wasn't really good as Batman. He smiled. You're not allowed to smile as Batman.
He smiled too much.
Yeah, he just shouldn't have been Batman, really.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. He was a great actor, and they wanted a great actor in the role, but yeah, they could have cast better.
I maintain that if Affleck had himself a good movie to be Batman in, I think that he would be good.
Yeah, he would have been great. I think they're moving away from him, though.
Yeah, I think he's out, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is. Because I would have liked to have seen that, given a chance. But you're right, Kevin Conroy, still probably the best Batman.
He's so fucking awesome, yeah.
So fucking cool, man. What about a Spider-Man? Let's keep going on this comic book theme here.
That's an easy one. Tom Holland is a huge improvement on both previous Spider-Man.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield and creepy guy.
Tobey Maguire.
Dude, I never liked the Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker in Spider-Man. He was
Emily
just too creepy and weird.
I liked him, but I get what you're saying. He does come across like he's less funny than the Spider-Man we're all used to.
Yeah, because he's plucky and quippy, and it's he's nerdy, but he's not a total outcast and weirdo.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what Tom Holland is doing such a good job of. Is he's a cool, likable kid. Yeah, that's not captain of the football team or anything. Yeah, and he's a dork, but then he's so great as Spider-Man. God, I hope they work out all these rights issues. We talked about it in the last episode.
I think they will. Yeah.
They'll come to their senses at some point. One more comic book one that I want to talk about here. Let's go into that X-Men universe here for a little while.
Let's talk for a little bit about a number of X-Men characters, because they've all been recast.
Yeah.
Basically, except for Wolverine.
Yeah. That's going to be one, dude, where they're going to have a hard time.
That's going to be real tough to beat. I just don't see Hugh Jackman being replaced by anyone and anyone doing it as well as he did.
No.
But I hope it does happen, though.
I hope so, too, man. He did an amazing job, especially somebody who's 2 feet too tall to be that character.
Right, because Wolverine's not very tall.
Yeah, he's a little fella.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman is gigantic.
Yeah.
But God, he did such a good job. But dude, I loved what they did with the young and old iterations of Professor Xavier.
Yeah, both him and Magneto, James McAvoy and what's his crotch? Fassbender, Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was the thing where it was like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. You can't beat that.
I mean, those are two motherfuckers right there.
Yeah, and they play the friendship well because they're actually friends, and they're able to do it extremely well.
Yeah.
So yeah, when James McAvoy and hearing James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are going to take over the roles, it was intriguing because it's they're both good actors, but they did a really good job of basically mimicking the relationship that was being portrayed by Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I agree, man. I totally agree. I thought they did a great job with it. Even though some of those movies aren't necessarily the best, they never did bad in them. And dude,
they're good.
I'll even say that I love Patrick Stewart being recast as a very different Professor X in the Wolverine movie.
Yeah, he's definitely gone through some stuff.
Yeah, his powers are going all fucked up, and he's kind of losing his mind a little bit. I even liked him recasting his own character in a much different light.
That was nice.
God, Patrick Stewart is just
he's so good.
A king
I'm excited
kings.
for the Picard series.
Oh yeah, they're doing that, right?
Yeah. Another person in those movies, though, that was a good lateral move is moving from Rebecca Romijn to Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, as
Mystique. Yeah,
that's right.
Because Rebecca Romijn looked so much like the Mystique you saw in the comic books.
Totally, man.
But they didn't let her talk much.
No, no.
But she did such a great job with it. And then Jennifer Lawrence comes along and she has, a ton of personality. So what are you going to do? Make her be quiet? That'd be ridiculous. That'd be like making a Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds and then removing his mouth. I don't know who would do that. Some idiot,
Jesus
probably.
Christ, man. Again, that's another deal where it's we got that character twice, and the second time around was infinitely fucking
That was
better.
a good recast. Changing from listening to that idiot at Fox to listening to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, dude. It's let's get this right. I'm trying to remember, in that very first one where he was in that Wolverine movie, was it Ryan Reynolds? Mm-hmm. Dude, in my head, it was so bad it wasn't even Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. Holy shit. So they had him in it and they fucked it up.
Yeah, and the man who'd wanted to play the character for so long knew everything about Deadpool.
Oh, man,
and
he
then
had to
they
be
just
pissed.
fuck it up. Yeah.
He had to be pissed.
I bet.
Wow.
He was pissed enough to keep pursuing making a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
now he's done made 2 of them. And they're fucking great.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how they're going to bring him into the MCU, and I really hope it is stuff where he's just like he's talking about the other movies and shit, pointing out I knew the other guy or something, like you
just keep it totally scoped out, like third wall kind of thing,
and everybody's
right?
just like confused. But
Who's he talking to?
That's what it's like in the comics.
Yeah,
everybody's just like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Well, if you think about it, early on with the Deadpool story, didn't he have a lot of interactions with X-Force?
Yeah,
which they're doing an X-Force thing, aren't they? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they are doing X-Force. They're gonna, all the people that we saw, Cable, Domino, etc. Hopefully some more people. Colossus again. Fucking Colossus was so fun in Deadpool
great.
2.
So
and
great.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and hopefully they'll introduce some more. Because they introduced all those X-Force characters and then killed them, which was funny.
Dude,
but they were all like the lamest characters. Yeah.
God, I love those Deadpool movies. So it's like making me want to like watch it again.
Yeah.
And it's just been maybe 6 months or so.
Yeah, well, you might as well watch it with the Fred Savage opening thing.
I might as well. There's no reason not to,
That's
man.
a funny one, yeah.
I think that like as this beer is getting less cold, it's getting better.
Yeah, a little bit warmer, making it taste a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it's like I can kind of taste all the flavors that are in there now.
Yeah.
I'm very okay with it.
It's good stuff. Way to go. This is the first time I've had a Coney Island Brewing Company.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever had anything of theirs before, too.
Cool.
Way to go, guys.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to another fictional universe.
Oh, which one?
That's had a little bit of recasting. What do you know about the most feared wizard in the wizarding world?
Which one?
I'm talking about Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Yeah, now some people will disagree with me on this, but I think it was not only a good move to have this new Dumbledore, but it was obviously not a choice.
I was going to say, if they would have cast a dead guy, it would have been a pretty stiff performance.
Yeah. I just don't think Richard Harris would have been able to do all the stuff that Dumbledore does in the later movies.
I agree.
Because he mostly just sits in the first 2 movies.
Yeah, and is old.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine Richard Harris Dumbledore, like, being fed poison? Being like, feed me more poison, Harry.
You must continue feeding me poison.
It wouldn't really have worked, I don't think.
Yeah, it would have been tough. But I understand why people dislike other Dumbledore. What's his name? Fuck. How did I forget?
Yeah, I know. Damn. It's Richard Harris and
Dumbledore. Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't have my
I
phone
understand
on me.
why people dislike him. If you go back, and I mean, next year we'll be talking about this movie, but
That's
if you
right.
watch that 4th movie, everybody's like, he's so angry. Just pay attention. Everybody in that movie is so angry all the time.
Everybody's super
Everybody
aggro.
in that movie. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you, man. And it's like, even if you didn't necessarily, love his performance,
Yeah.
I think it's just more of like the dialogue and stuff he was working
Michael
with.
Gambon.
Michael Gambon. There you go.
Finally
Damn,
came to
man.
my head.
It's one of those things I definitely should have known. Thanks, beer and margarita. But yeah, definitely a good step right there. What about something maybe more in the horror realm? We've had a lot of horror remakes that have had some horrible, awful recasts for sure.
And I wanted to avoid any of the Jason change-ups or whatever.
Yeah,
Because to me,
Myers.
it's just like, is anyone really terrible as Jason? I guess the guy in the second movie, he kind of played him as a coward. But
really clumsy fellow with bad depth perception.
Yeah, when you look at Maniac and you look at, the difference between Joe Spinell and Elijah Wood, which is like Joe Spinell was chubby, sweaty. He looked like a guy you'd be a little worried about.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that if you saw him, at the grocery store or whatever, you'd be like, that guy's fucking creeping me out.
But Elijah Wood, he's a kind of short guy. He's skinny.
Clean cut.
Just cute looking dude. Yeah, you're not going to be afraid of him. So it really changed the way that Maniac kind of came across to me and actually made it gross to me.
Yeah.
With Joe Spinell, I was able to distance myself and be like, oh, well, that's not me. I'm not really that guy.
Yeah.
But then with Elijah Wood, it's like, kind of more like him. And Jesus, I would not do what he's doing right now. And it makes you feel like more of a connection, more grossed out by it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, because you can watch Joe Spinell's performance and be like, you've never been friends with that person.
Yeah,
because
that
they've
guy's
always creeped you out.
crazy.
But then with Elijah Woods, it's like, I've known people and been friends with people that could have been doing all this stuff all along, because he just seems so ordinary,
right,
and normal and likable, but then has this fucked up private life.
Both, I mean, that is
awesome.
Yeah, both of those movies are worth watching. I mean, they're fucking disgusting.
Oh yeah, not a feel good movie at all.
If you like horror movies, they're definitely worth watching.
Yeah, definitely. We should do the Elijah Wood one on the show sometime.
We should.
We did the OG a while back. And that newer one is pretty decent.
It's pretty decent and pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Like, just, it made me feel gross.
Oh, yeah.
Not that the original didn't.
Oh, yeah.
They both make you feel gross.
For sure, man. What do you think about maybe some Star Trek? We've had some Star Trek remakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody loves their original cast and stuff there.
I think Zachary Quinto, for sure, did a great fucking job.
I think so, too.
Chris Pine. I think
Chris Pine's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Zoe Saldana is Uhura.
Yeah, she's great.
Got more like strength to her. Not that Uhura was ever weak, but Zoe Saldana's more like direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my head, like, all the recasting in that works and makes sense because, I mean, I've never really watched Star Trek that much.
Right.
But it's like I know vague characters of what the characters should be and what they look like and what they act like. Mm-hmm. And I thought that the new movies have done a really good job of casting people that fulfill my ideas of what those characters act like, talk like, look like, and so on.
I would say that J.J. Abrams' Star Treks are fun. As a person who loves Star Trek can say that they don't fit the tone of
what I've heard from
most
a lot of people.
Star Trek fans are looking for.
It's less cerebral, more stuff blowing up in
like
battles.
Shoot that
shit.
thing instead of diplomacy. Like that's episodes of Star Trek is just like you're watching a diplomacy unfold for 45 minutes and you're just like fucking riveted because Patrick Stewart's goddamn awesome, and they just wrote those so well that, like, if you're into intrigue and stuff, they're great, but there's not a lot of action.
Right.
So add the action, it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. I'm not one of those who says, that it ruined. Like, I don't get when people say something ruined something they like. Did it make the thing you like stop existing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It still exists. Just watch the thing you like. If you don't like this remake or whatever, just ignore it.
The one you liked is still there.
I don't watch the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't ruin the original for me.
Every time I go back and watch new nightmare movies, like, it's just like, I'll just avoid that one.
Yeah.
Because it's not good.
While we're on the subject of those epic sci-fi franchises, I'll say, too, one of the best things about the prequel Star Wars movies is the recast of Obi-Wan.
Yeah. He's in all three of the original trilogy, but he's
as a
ghost in two of them. Yeah. He seems real meek and mild to me, and Ewan McGregor added a lot of character to it.
Yeah, he did. He did. I thought that he did a really good job of summing up, like, what kind of life that guy would have lived before he became Old Ben.
Yeah, and if he was such a great Jedi, of course he'd be a little cocky.
Yeah.
And he is.
And he did, and he was. And even, like, you get flashes of that shit, too, with Old Man Obi-Wan. Like, whenever these are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, he's not even, like, fucking perturbed by them,
Yeah.
And, and then just lowering his lightsaber to let Vader kill him. He's not even, there's no doubt to it. He's like, I know what's going to happen. And I think they're going to start talking about what happens in those damn Force ghosts in the new Star Wars. I think they're finally going to get to it. Because I really think that, what was his name? The big bad?
Snoke.
Snoke. I think Snoke is going to have influence through the Force in this movie. I think that killing him seems like just out of the blue and not at all good writing. But if you have plans for working on that, like, idea of what these Force ghosts are and how it is that Darth Plagueis the Wise found power through death. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, maybe.
Well, the more that you talk about that, too, the more I'm thinking about maybe how people must have felt whenever they watched the originals and they're like, Obi-Wan, this fucking legendary badass.
He got
killed.
What the fuck?
They killed him right away.
Oh, my God. I'm so mad. I'm never going to watch one of these movies again.
Yeah, but then he comes back and he's in, like, all the other ones.
Yeah.
Because ultimately in the Star Wars world, the death of a Jedi doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, they just become part of the Force.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm with you. I think that we're definitely going to see Snoke come back.
It's interesting.
Well, especially considering that they showed so much Yoda, and they showed that Ghost Yoda can interact with the physical world and shit.
Exactly.
It's like
they set it up.
You've really made it appear that dying just makes you unkillable.
Yeah.
That's really all that death does to a Jedi. So I'm with you. I think we're definitely going to see more of that. Maybe even some Luke Skywalker in there too.
I mean, I'm assuming with the title.
Yeah.
That there's going to be something there. Yeah.
What about one more here, Steve? How do you feel about the casting of a legendary, wonderful woman as another very wonderful woman? I'm talking about a Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Linda Carter would be... I mean, people from the 70s especially enjoyed the Wonder Woman show. Mm-hmm. That's their Wonder Woman, Linda Carter.
Very handsome lady.
Yeah. She spins around, becomes Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Got that lasso. It's great.
Then we get a Gal Gadot for these new ones.
And it's, she's so fucking good, though. Like,
I know, she's awesome.
I like that she has an accent. Mm-hmm. That actually helps me believe more. Because, like, Diana Prince has always been... shown as this American, basically.
Yeah, why?
And it's like she's from an island off of Greece. She's probably gonna have an accent.
Probably gonna have a little bit of an accent there. Yeah, that is one of those things that I kind of took for granted. That I was like, oh yeah, duh, she should have an accent.
Yeah, of course. So perfect choice. And gosh, those movies, like, I think there's some lack of creativity in the first one because it so closely mimics the first Captain America.
Yeah. After you pointed that out, I was like, yeah, it really does.
But she's fucking badass in them.
Oh, yeah, totally.
She's so good in it.
Kicks so much ass. She's great, man. Yeah, we've had ourselves our fair share of Hollywood recast letdowns, but they've not all been bad. So just remember the next time that you see one of your favorite characters getting replayed by a different actor, try to remember the successes that we've had. Remember the Heath Ledgers. Remember the Bill Skarsgårds.
This is all set up because we're both going to be replaced by new hosts.
So look forward to it.
Yeah, they'll use our names, but they'll be different.
Well, Steve, I think it's about time we get down here to business, and let's start talking about it from 19 and 2017.
19 and 2017.
Now, we, of course, watched this in the theaters multiple times.
Yeah,
you saw it like 2 or 3
times,
I think. I think I just saw it one time when it came out, and I could have sworn that we did a mini episode on this.
But we did not.
But we didn't. It's one of those rare post-2012 Mandela effect things.
Yeah. I think maybe on some episode we just talked a good bit about it.
I think so.
Maybe.
I think so, yeah. Because like you saw it, then I saw it, then you saw it again.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm pretty sure we must have talked at length about it sometime after it came out in 2017.
Yeah.
Again, it would have been early days of the show. But I really, really loved it, and I watched it again whenever it came on streaming a couple months ago. And I was like, you know what? Still really like it.
Yeah.
But, you know, this time I was watching it for the show and stuff with a more critical eye.
Yeah.
Searching for some little flaws and stuff here and there.
What's wrong here? I'm going to pull on that thread.
Yeah, let's just yank on that thing. Let's destroy that sweater.
Take that.
Pull that thread as I walk away.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Watch that thing unravel. It'll soon be naked. Lying on the floor. It's coming down. Remember when Weezer was good?
Yeah, it was great, too. Like,
Blue Album, dude. And Pinkerton.
Glad you mentioned Pinkerton.
It's been a while since I mentioned that on the show. There was a period where it's like somewhere like on every other episode, it was like, yeah, like Pinkerton.
Yeah, Pinkerton.
But you know what? Before I get much deeper into this, I feel like I need to get deep on a pull.
Oh, yeah?
It's about time for pull number dose. What do we got over here, Steve?
Let's get real deep on a pull. We got a little Lagunitas brown sugar.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever done this on the show, though. This is one of...
It's a go-to.
I have a story about this. Basically, when Emily and I moved to LA, we didn't have anywhere to stay, and we hopped around on some couches and stuff until...
Wait, which Randy Newman song are you quoting right now?
We hopped around on couches and stuff. We didn't have a place to stay.
We moved to LA. Had to know where to stay. That's a pretty good Randy Newman, actually. Really, I found out you have to stick your chin out really far when you do it. Kind of like you're deaf in like one ear.
Yeah. What is that? We finally found a place to stay for a few months with some guys in Highland Park who...
And party animals.
Still great friends of mine. And one of the guys we were staying with, Vicente, he really into beer, works in brewing now. And he had one of those large bottles of the brown sugar, and he was like, you like Lagunitas? And I was like, well, at this time, like, we were just coming from Tennessee, and all they had here was the IPA and the Czech Pilsner.
Oh, yeah. The first Lagunitas I ever had was the Czech Pilsner.
Yeah. So those are the only two I'd had. And I was like, yeah, the IPA is really good. And he was like, oh, it's all you've ever had? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, sit down. And he like poured down some brown sugar. And I was like, dude, what? And he just started introducing me to all the different types of Lagunitas. Fell in love. So really glad that Lamar brought us some brown sugar.
It's one of my favorites, man. Anybody that listens to the show knows that we love ourselves a Lagunitas. Yeah. I think you've proclaimed this to be your favorite.
The brown sugar?
Yeah.
It is one of my favorites. Let's see. I like that Prohibition shutdown.
Dude, the shutdown's so good. Yeah. That's what we've not done on the show either.
No.
Oh, it's great. That Dark Swan is the shit.
Little something is good.
Great. The one I usually get at like the grocery store is at Maximus. I love the Maximus.
That one we have done. We did the Sock It To Me.
Yeah, that Sleepaway Camp episode. I don't know why particularly I remember that. Probably just because I love Sleepaway Camp so much, man. The Sock It To Me is good. It's been a while since I had one of these, man.
That is so fucking
Treats you right. Is it like drinking a blanket?
It's like drinking brown sugar soda, basically. But the thing that I'm always like just perplexed by is this is 10% alcohol.
Oh God, what have we done? I didn't know this was 10%.
Yeah,
holy cow! 10%. So we split this like 7 something. We already had a margarita with like 2 shots of tequila in it.
10% beer.
Woo, man!
Yeah,
this episode gonna get silly. I can't believe that's 10%.
I know you can't taste it at all.
It's so smooth, but it's also not got that like overly sugary, thick, heavy thing going on.
It just has a good brown sugar flavor to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what other beer to compare it to.
No.
Honestly, now that I think about it.
And that Waldo's that they make is like this on fucking bath salts.
Yeah.
You know? Because I think it's like 13 or 14%.
Yes, it is a Waldo.
It's gigantic, man.
Yeah. It's got a lot of flavor.
Man, God bless a Lagunitas, dude. One day we'll just do like a list of our top 5 Lagunitas beers.
One day we'll just fly to Petaluma. Worship at their feet, I guess.
Maybe we do that, man. That'd be all right by me. So, we have seen this movie multiple times.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, did it hold up upon repeat viewings?
Yeah, I've seen it. Let's see. I saw it twice in the theaters.
Yeah.
I've watched it twice with my wife, and I watched it 3 times for this. And each time I was still like, this is a good movie.
I watched it 6 times.
6 times
I
watched that movie.
I watched it, says Dr. Loomis. Wow, man. So that's a lot of repeat views.
Yeah. And each time, I'll be honest, I mostly just caught more stuff I liked instead of catching stuff that I thought was a flaw. I mean, I caught some stuff that we'll definitely talk about, but it mostly just got better each time where it's like, this really works. That fits. This is perfect. Like, there's not a lot to complain about.
I really enjoy it. I really, really do, man. It's like, it's not perfect, and if your be-all, end-all is the original TV series, for one, you're a very strange person.
You are an odd person, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, if you're just so devoted to the OG, then, yeah, there's going to be stuff in here that doesn't quite meet your expectations, I guess, but maybe just open your mind up a little bit and enjoy something new, you know?
The kids got a good bit more edge to them than the original miniseries.
Yeah, which, you know, back then, you know, 1990 television?
Yeah.
They couldn't have kids saying fuck and stuff on it, you know?
But that is what kids were saying.
Yeah,
and still are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The minute that your kid gets out of the house,
he says fuck.
He says fuck all the time.
Everyone know this. Your child walks out of the house and just goes, fuck, shit.
Shitty, fuck, dick. As soon as I leave the house. Absolutely so. Now, Steve, there is a fuck ton of information about this movie out there. If you check out the Wikipedia or the IMDb trivia.
This is the first time I've had sort of option paralysis with research where it was just like...
Yeah, dude.
I could listen to so many interviews. I could watch all this stuff, and then it was just like, to me, well, since all that's out there, why do I need to convey it again? Somebody can listen to it.
There you go.
There's stuff that we can talk about that no one else is talking about.
Ooh, I like that very much. I do enjoy that. But yeah, if you want to learn about the history of this movie, you don't have to look very far, man. It's almost as if they knew. They were like, let's document all of this shit because this movie is going to break every record ever. It made more money, I think, than any horror movie in theaters ever has. It made like $700 million.
Yeah, and this will be one of the most iconic horror movies looking back on the 2010s. In the future, people will be like, what were the best horror movies in 2010s? Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out.
What else? The Witch.
Hereditary. Oh, dude, P.S.
Oh, The Witch is technically 2009, so it wouldn't count. Yeah.
Speaking of Hereditary, man, dude, I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, and somebody put up just a little meme video, and I can't even remember what the subject of it was. It was over on 40 Deuce's page. 40 Deuce is a really fun follow, especially if you're into like music stuff. But it was something that he put up the other day, and again, it was just some weird meme video kind of thing. But it had a soundtrack going with it. And for some reason, immediately after I watched this, 10 or 15 second long video, I just felt awful. I was like, why do I feel so fucking weird right now? And like unsettled and disturbed. And then I thought about it for like 5 seconds, and I was like, oh, it's because he put the ending music from Hereditary in this video. Just as like the bells, and like there's like a big sweeping horn melody and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize it as Hereditary at first, but it seriously gave me like full-blown like PTSD, like I'm back. Why do I feel so fucked up right now? It's because he put Hereditary music in his fucking video.
Awesome.
My God, what a movie that is.
Yeah.
Good Lord, man.
Can't wait to cover Midsummer eventually with the full, because that movie had so much going on in it that I just gave up trying to write it down. It's just seriously. Like, okay, I will get back to this.
I can't wait to see what Ari Aster does in the future, man.
Yeah.
Good Lord. He's going to give us a lot of good stuff. But yeah, whenever this movie came out, I think the budget for it was like $35 million, something
It was
like that.
$35 million.
That's not that much.
No, it's not.
By Hollywood standards, especially when you're talking about remaking something extremely iconic and swinging for the fences with it and hoping that it really, hits big. And then it turns around and makes close to $1 billion. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was unexpected for them for sure. Especially like Stephen King adaptations can go well. Like, they've made money in the past, but people were, of course, wary about going to see, one, a remake of something that people that liked it already liked, and two, another Stephen King title that may bomb.
Well, the thing is, too, though, is I think that back then, whenever you had people go and watch Stephen King adaptations, which, hey, speaking of some of the best Stephen King adaptations, here's
check out a video tomorrow.
That's right, over on our YouTube channel. We don't talk about it enough, but we also have an award-deserving YouTube channel.
It's true.
That's right. True. And we just need a couple dozen more subs, and we can put out a custom URL for it that's, / Dead and Lovely. But for right now, we're just shy of 1,000 subscribers. If you're listening to this, even if you don't even intend to ever watch the YouTube videos or whatever,
go subscribe anyway.
Just do us a favor. Yeah. It's not going to cost you anything. It just takes you a second. Just subscribe, get us over 1,000 so we can have a custom URL so that the people that want to find the videos and stuff can find them on there. We also put uploads of the podcast and stuff on there too.
Oh yeah, we always
people are at the office.
Yeah, we always put the new episode up and then an episode from our backlog up on. Used to be Mondays. I moved it to Fridays because something's going to be coming out on Mondays in a few weeks.
That's right. Super secret. Shh, it's a secret. Don't tell.
Don't tell everyone.
But yeah, we're putting up a video about our top 5 Stephen King adaptations on there, so be sure to check that out. But anyway, back in the day, I think whenever, we were getting all these adaptations of Stephen King flicks, books like Pet Sematary and shit like that, probably most of the people that were going to see them were like nerds that read books.
Yeah, they're Stephen King fans.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of before horror became a little bit more mainstream. I mean, this is in an age where you couldn't even imagine The Walking Dead being viewed by families all over the fucking country,
That being appointment television for families.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it kind of goes to show you what happens when you have a generation of kids, like that were like our age in the 80s that got absolutely mortified by the It TV series. They get older, they have kids, and then this thing comes out. I'm sure they probably just wanted to inflict that on their kids and be like, oh, you got to watch it. It's a remake of this thing that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And they'll go see it, and they'll bring their kids and so on, Well,
I mean, the second time I went in the theater was with my niece.
There you go. Case in point.
She had a great time.
Yeah.
She had real fun with it. So, that's one of those things that people forget that when they were kids and they watched the original It, they weren't having nightmares about Pennywise while watching him. They were probably laughing and being like, yeah, that's silly, whatever. And then it just seeps into your brain.
Yeah.
And sticks there.
No doubt.
So like, yeah, we all, when we were kids, were like, ha ha ha, this is funny or whatever. But then you go to sleep and you have the nightmare and it fucking sticks with you forever.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And not only did this break all kinds of, horror movie records, just R-rated movie records.
Yes.
It's next
that is a big deal.
Is it next to Deadpool 2 as the highest grossing
one
R-rated
there,
movie? And dude, that's just one of those dumb fucking things, man. You see these imaginary standards out there.
Yeah, they don't
You
make
see
any
these
sense.
bullshit standards that, we got to make it PG-13 or else nobody else will go see it. Fucking horse shit.
Yeah.
You hear this in the music industry. It's like, songs have to be verse, chorus in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in the first chorus within the first 30 seconds of the song in order for it to be a hit. Sit down next time you're listening to like basically any popular Guns N' Roses song.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that song go? Please break down the structure of Welcome to the Jungle for me. Like, is that a verse chorus song? Fuck no. Dude, Sweet Child of Mine is like 6.5 minutes long.
It is.
People don't like formulas.
November Rain's like 10 minutes, isn't it?
And it follows no structure.
No, but it's a great song.
Yeah, and everybody fucking knows it. And everybody sings the guitar solo.
Yeah.
It has like a 2-minute long instrumental section in the fucking song, People don't like formulas. People like things that are made well and made with passion.
Yeah, formulas are just a corporation way of trying to break down success. Like, they think, okay, well, these movies were successful and these are the things they had in common, so we need to have those things in common with our movie.
It's breaking art down into an algorithm of what should work.
And sometimes that works. Not that it makes a good product, but sometimes it works for them. They actually make money off of it, so they keep pursuing it that way.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of good songs that are verse, chorus.
Sure.
I mean, basically every AC/DC song other than Thunderstruck.
They all sound basically the same.
Yeah, and they're great. Yeah, so this movie definitely destroyed everybody's expectations. And there was a long road leading up to getting this thing made. It's not necessarily one of those ones that sat in development hell like we hear about movies sitting in, but it took some time to get the wheels moving.
Yeah, a lot of people like development hell. It usually is about a decade. Once a movie's been in pre-production for a decade, or just
doomed,
not even hit pre-production, just bought and
shelved.
Yeah, you're basically in production hell. This. Starting in 2009 with David Kajganich and his script, or beginnings of a script. Mm-hmm. It went to Cary Fukunaga, and later that year, he worked on it from 2009 to like 2015, I think.
And that's the guy that did True Detective Season 1,
Yeah, he directed
right?
every episode of True Detective Season 1.
Phenomenal.
So fucking
Holy
good.
shit. So I really would have loved to seen his take on this.
I would too. He had apparently a much darker take and a completely different cast except for Finn Wolfhard. Finn Wolfhard is the only one who survived.
Made the cut.
Yeah.
Dang, dude. And I saw too where he apparently changed the names of a bunch of the characters and stuff.
Yeah, he had gone a little rogue, I guess, and then I'm not sure what all happened to make him step away. I know he was busy, but also it seems like maybe there was some clashes.
There was some
with
conflict
the studio
somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the studio brought in Andy Muschietti, who did Mama, which is a movie that is like a 4 for me, I would say. Like, watching it was just like, it's not good. It's not terrible, but it's not good. It's got some interesting effects, and Jessica Chastain with short dark hair is adorable.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I wasn't a huge fan, so I was a little skeptical of this movie when I heard he was going to be directing it.
Yeah. Didn't the Duffer Brothers from Stranger Things also get talked about at some point in here about taking over?
Did they?
I want to say somewhere in there I read that they were... Maybe they had pitched a script about a remake or something like that, but they shut it down.
Obviously, the Duffer Brothers should get any chance they want with any Stephen King property. They've shown that they can do
more
it.
than handle it. But this was pre-Stranger Things.
Before that, get a shot at an X-Men movie.
Oh my God, please.
I really hope... I mean, I think Stranger Things will end in season 5, and at that point, I'd love for Marvel to bring them on, to bring the X-Men into the MCU.
Dude, could you imagine if they did a Gen X movie?
It'd be great. They'd be fucking awesome at it.
Just dealing with all the young X-Men and stuff. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'd be way on board with that. But yeah, like, I think I read, again, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read that they had pitched a script or something like that, but it just didn't get approved.
Yeah.
But this is also pre-Stranger Things. I mean, I think that if they would have put their idea out there after they proved their worth of Stranger Things, it would have been like unquestionably.
Oh yeah,
you guys
everybody
get to do
would.
this movie.
Yeah, they would have been beating down their door. I think it's a good thing that the Duffer Brothers basically are just sticking to Stranger Things, because once you get into other projects, the main project starts getting weaker.
Suffer. Yeah. I hope they round that series out and then move on and do other amazing things. There's a lot of things I could see them redoing and just doing like the work that should have been done originally, like Pet Sematary. Yeah, Jesus.
That remake. I wish
good,
that had been good. I really do.
It is not good. It's not good at all. But yeah, so we got we finally finalized our director. Things were moving right along.
Yeah. Great cast. They brought in Bill Skarsgård, who really took like a lot of work to make sure that he wasn't trying to imitate Tim Curry and was able to be something separate on his own, and trying to make Pennywise less fun. Like to take, because Tim Curry's still a little bit fun. He's still making jokes and
he's clowny.
Yeah. Whereas Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise is more of the scary type of clown, like a clown that has a very dark edge to them that just doesn't, like, their jokes and what you find funny don't mesh. Like what he thinks is funny is killing a child and ripping their arm off. What we think is funny is probably not that, right?
Not. It kind of depends on context.
Really. All right, knock.
Yeah. Rip off arm. See, it works, right? That's a good one. That's a good one. Context is key.
Knock, rip off arm.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very different.
Stop knocking on my fucking door.
But the thing about it is like, I think if you're comparing the two Pennywises, whereas, okay, at the end of the original It series, where there's just like, what the fuck? It's this crab alien.
You're right.
What? It's so strange and it catches you off guard so much, because I think the whole movie he had played what just seemed almost like a John Wayne Gacy sadistic clown. It's like, I act silly and I wear clown's makeup and stuff, but I like killing children.
Right.
And that was scary. But the way that Skarsgård plays Pennywise in this is very, very different.
He's predatorial.
He's predatorial, and to me, he seems like he is some sort of predator. Of course, we find out later on that he's an alien form and stuff. Not in this movie.
Yeah, they don't say that directly, but we do. I mean, when he opens his mouth and she sees the dead lights and shit, like, you can tell he's
not normal.
He
ain't right. The boy ain't right.
Exactly.
But in this, he seems to me more like I said, some sort of predatory animal or alien that is disguising itself.
Yeah, it's like
as
lure.
A human.
Yeah, it's like drawing in the kids. But like, you can tell it just with his first conversation with Georgie, where like he's using like the clown guys and the talking about the circus to lure Georgie in. But whenever like he stops talking, like his eyes float off and like he's drooling and stuff. Dude. Like he's not engaged in this conversation with Georgie. He's using it to get Georgie close.
Well, because he doesn't really understand how human interactions work. I even like the fact that he's wearing that almost Victorian era clown suit.
It's the one you see in like the picture of him, the drawn picture of him from the 1800s. Yeah,
which just shows you too, like, more history about the character. It's like he crash landed here however long ago,
right?
And was like, I don't know what would work at attracting kids so I can prey upon them. I don't know, clowns. They like clowns.
They all seem to like that.
Yeah, so he took on the appearance of this thing and never updated it. Like, let's say like the Tim Curry clown looked like an 80s bozo kind of clown.
Like bozo,
Yeah, and in this, it's like he's not kept up with the times or anything like that. He's just, I don't know, this works. Human kids enjoy this look.
I mean, even in the 90s with Tim Curry as a clown, I know that it gave everybody their fear of clowns or whatever, but it wasn't like before that everybody was clamoring for clowns.
Yeah, bring in the clowns
already. They were pretty much gone out of the, like, nobody was like, let's go to the circus in 1990.
I don't think so.
That wasn't a thing we did. So, like, Tim Curry would have been already outdated, so the idea that they made him updated but still outdated doesn't make sense. To have him be just OG clown, he's of course outdated, but he can still lure kids in with how goofy and silly he talks and how he looks funny. His head's a little big,
Yeah.
All those things make a kid feel a little more comfortable, because kids are freaked out by people who look too different, but people who look a little funny and maybe talk to them like they're adults. Kids are pretty much attracted to that. They're not creeped out by somebody like that.
Yeah.
So he uses that as an in, but gosh, he's such an animal in the moments when he's not
talking. That's why I feel about it.
Yeah.
He is like an animal. And it's like that comes across with, like, I'm glad you mentioned the drooling earlier.
Yeah.
Apparently that was just a byproduct of the fact that he had to wear those teeth.
Yeah.
You know, he had those kind of almost hamster-like teeth and stuff in his mouth, and that made him drool excessively. And I love how, like, he doesn't even realize he's doing it. Like, he never goes to, like, wipe his mouth like,
why would he?
Get rid of it. He's just salivating
An
like
animal
a dog
doesn't.
in front of a piece of meat or something like that. And it just shows you that, again, he is like an animal disguised as a human, disguised as a clown.
Right.
But ultimately, he's just a fucking animal.
Yeah.
And I even love, too, like, he does so many little things with his voice, like all kinds of little weird things where he'll enunciate
Georgie.
something. Yeah, it's like a little growl and stuff. Almost sounds like Scooby-Doo or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like he doesn't sound really like how a human talks.
Yeah. He uses those psychological tricks too. Like, you can draw somebody into your point of view pretty easily by having them imagine themselves in that place. So he has Georgie, like, what are the things you smell at the circus? And like, you know, he labels some things and he's like, and so you get the person to say the thing they like most about the circus, and you find out something about them. But all the while, what he's doing is he's breaking down the barriers and getting him closer. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like, even the fact that he's down there in that sewer grate just shows like he doesn't really get how people meet people. You know? He's like, this works, right? Sewer grate? That'll draw him in.
Jason Mantzoukas said this on a podcast I heard where he's just like, I should probably hang out in storm drains. Like, can you imagine if Jason Mantzoukas in a storm drain? Like, hey, what's up? Zoo. I would totally talk to him.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
All right.
I'd crawl down there, just kind of hang out. Like, what are you doing down there, man? You silly bastard. Look at you. Look at you. Yeah, I think that he does an amazing job as Pennywise personally. And like I said, I really love the look. I love that he's constantly doing that. You know, the thing that I've heard it called is the Kubrick glare.
Yes.
Which is something
that
you see.
Look up from under. Yeah.
Chin's kind of down. Eyes are looking forward.
Yeah, you see Alex do it. You see what's his name?
Jack Torrance
in Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, Jack Torrance does it, but what's the dude in Full Metal Jacket?
Private Pile. Yeah, like it's something that you see in all these Kubrick movies. It just evokes this caveman animal kind of thing. And Pennywise does it constantly.
Animalistic,
in this movie.
Bill Skarsgård did such a good job of creating this character, like crafting it into something not Tim Curry. Like, because that's full respect. Like, that's the same thing that I was talking about with Joker, where Heath Ledger obviously fully respected what Jack Nicholson did and did not try to emulate it.
Yeah.
Because to try to emulate it is just to vary it and to say, like, well, I can maybe do better than what you did. Mm-hmm. No, you go completely different. So he went completely different. Instead of, making it look like me against Tim Curry, it's me against your perceptions of what I can be. Like, if you're worried I'm not going to be good enough, I'm going to make sure that I come across very early as awesome.
Bill Skarsgård was apparently also not the first choice they had to play him.
There were some other people along the way.
Yeah. One of which was the guy that was like the clown funny guy in Midsommar. The guy with the crazy eyebrows.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he was up for there for a little while.
He was in We Are the Millers. I always forget that kid's name. Yeah. He was also in Bandersnatch. Yeah.
He's like Will something.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was up for there. But then, dude, an alternate reality.
Also, he could have been good, I'm sure.
I think he could have been, because he's like weird looking.
Yeah, he's weird looking, but he's also a really like dedicated actor. Like, watch him in Bandersnatch and see, like, he really created an interesting character there.
But dude, another alternate reality that I would love to just slip into for just a second, if I could see this movie with this other choice they had for Pennywise, Tilda Swinton.
Okay, yeah.
They originally were talking about getting her to be Pennywise.
Not a bad idea.
I think that would have been fucking
Tilda Swinton can do anything.
She can do anything.
She really can. Yeah.
Because, it's like, not only would it have added, just how great she is at playing strange alien characters, but also to make the clown kind of androgynous.
Yeah.
Would have been
that would
really
have been great.
interesting.
Yeah, because, like, the fact that he's a man is a little weird, where it's like, it's an alien force that doesn't really understand humans. Like, why would it particularly
its
pick a gender?
Doesn't matter whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
I
having
can see
her,
Tilda Swinton being great.
right? Like that's something that, again, as good of a job as Bill did, I would love to see that.
Yeah, just the alternate version of it. Yeah,
I'd be very okay with that. And of course, he is surrounded by our Losers Club cast
They're
of
so
kids
good.
who are the heart and soul of this movie. And I mean, really, without these kids playing these roles, I would not like this movie near as much as I did. They knock it out of the fucking
they're all
park.
so good. Every single one of them. I think, Finn Wolfhard is obviously the strongest performance because he's just so fucking comfortable.
Beep, beep, Richie.
Basically being himself, too. If you see interviews with Finn Wolfhard, that's just
how he is.
That's how he is, yeah.
Dude, he is so great about being hilarious, but also like not just like walking into every shot and just stealing all the attention.
Right,
I mean, he's the biggest star of these kids.
Yeah.
For sure. But he doesn't just completely distract you. Like he needs to be at the center of every shot at all times. Like I love that scene where they're hanging out in that side street during that parade, and he's back there, he like grabs like that tuba off of that guy, and the guy like takes it from me. He's like, "What the fuck, man?" It's so good, dude. It's so good. I love hearing how much shit he talks and just how crude he is and how hilarious he is.
Yeah.
And he's always just throwing in all these like nasty jokes about people's moms and sisters, but like the other kids don't even laugh at them.
Nope.
They're just
That's
like,
the thing.
ugh.
They never laugh at him. They never laugh
No,
at him.
yeah, because they're just so used to his shit.
Yeah.
It's like you get the impression that these kids aren't even surprised that he's saying this shit about their moms or their sister. They're
he's just so
dead
used to it
by now, because that's how it gets. Like with your gang of friends and the way that we all shit talk each other and stuff, it's like you become immune to each other's insults. Where it's like we just do this because we do it, not because it's shocking or insulting or funny. This is just the rhythm we've gotten into.
And the first thing he says to Ben, who isn't his friend, was, "Glad I got to meet you before you died." Like
what?
Yeah, like he that is just who he is, and like he does, because Seth Green played the character before, and it just wasn't written well.
Yeah, that's
not that Seth
he did a good
Green
job.
did a bad job. It just wasn't written well. It wasn't the way that kids joke around.
And that goes back to what we were saying about 90s TV.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that.
Right.
At
it
all.
was more knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, I got a joke.
Yeah, it was more of that kind of thing.
Arm ripped off.
Not the way, not the way that kids would talk in their private lives. Again, maybe during the 50s, though. The original set in the 50s. Maybe that's how it was. I don't know. I doubt
don't think
it, though.
so. I really don't believe there's ever been a time when children were meek and demure.
No, I think that they're all just little animals and they get on their own. I'm pretty fucking sure.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking sure, man. I wonder about Flynn Wolfhard, because if you think about it, his entire career, he has been mushroom hair 80s kid. Between Stranger Things and It, he's just been in amazing stuff being an 80s kid. And I have this idea in my head that like Flynn's parents... Finn. Did I say Flynn?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck me.
Whatever.
Thanks, beer.
Whatever.
I have this idea that Finn's parents, like before they had him, they're like, you know what we should do? We should make this kid think that he's living in the 80s.
They just have like old TVs.
And their whole house is decorated like it's 80s. All that they get, like they have like a big stash.
He's like,
of, like,
can I go stay over at my friend's house? They're like, no.
Absolutely
no, sorry.
not. No,
sorry.
poison gas.
You know the
Can't do
poison
it.
gas.
In this economy, no. I think they have like this big stash of like old Time magazines from the 80s that they have delivered to like their house every day, you know? And it's like, oh, look at the Gorbachev, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you heard his band?
No.
Oh, he's got a band.
Do they sound 80s? I hope they're hair metal.
No, they're not. That would be awesome, though.
But it's like they kept this kid locked into this like fake 80s universe. They're like, he'll be the one that plays all the stuff that's going to be in the 80s.
Yeah, because it's
our
obviously
generation.
going to have... They foresaw that.
Dude,
They were the geniuses.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm hearing people talk about how they're like getting tired of this 80s nostalgia
I'm not.
overdose. I'm not.
To me, it's not nostalgia. To me, it's a smart way to get around the cell phone problem.
Get around the cell phone problem.
You have to.
I know.
You have to get around it. Like in the 80s, you eliminate the cell phone. I mean, if you remember the 80s, like if you got a call and you weren't home, you didn't get the call. The end.
Yeah, if you didn't have an answering machine.
Yeah, you might
you'd
have
never
been
even
one of the
know.
people with one of those fancy dancy answering machines. But it basically was just a life in which information was inaccessible a lot of times. Like you just had to go off of what you could get from things around you, books, TV, etc. You couldn't just go on the internet and look something up. It wasn't better. I'm not saying that's better.
No.
But it does make
for a better story.
It makes for better story.
Yeah.
Yes, because every single time a horror movie comes out these days, and when you're like, well, why didn't they just look that up? Why didn't they just call the police? Like,
It's like, that would have made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like Home Alone with cell phones?
Yes,
No problem.
No problem. Absolutely. Just call it. Like, why didn't he call the police ever in Home Alone? I just don't get that.
That's kind of a thing. Yeah, that is kind of an issue when you get down to it. Check out our Wildcard Home Alone episode for more details on that one.
That's a 10 out of 10, that Home Alone.
That's a 10 hours out of 10 long
that was a long episode.
Too. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. And, he is, Finn is amazing in the movie, but he's not the only kid that's great.
Oh, no, they're all good.
I think that the chick that plays Bev is going to be a gigantic star.
She just played Nancy Drew recently, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it was in a direct-to-TV or direct-to-video, but she played Nancy Drew. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I think she's going to do great things.
Yeah, she's really good. She's
so much charisma and charm on screen.
The kid who plays the OCD kid, he was in a show on CBS for a little bit.
Is that Eddie?
Eddie, yeah.
Eddie is great.
He's so good. He plays it so perfectly.
Great job. Yeah, because the thing is like, he's neurotic and a germaphobe and all this stuff, but he's also just a believable kid who's smart and funny and talks shit. Like,
yes.
He's that's only one facet of his character is what I'm saying. Like, it's not just this completely overblown, I live in a bubble at all times thing.
Right.
It's just something that kind of comes and goes with his character.
When we think about those kids who were like coddled a lot as kids or
helicopter
overly
parented.
watched.
Yeah.
When they're portrayed in movies and TV a lot, they're portrayed as like detached from the world. But that's not it. They still go to school every day. They're still regular kids that have to deal with when they come home, the mom who's watching every single thing they do and, saying that everything is a disease and whatnot.
Yeah.
So like the character is a lot better than just, I think in the 90s series, he just had absorbed all of his mom's fears and wasn't anything like a normal kid. Whereas this guy's a normal kid, but also has absorbed all those fears that his mom keeps pumping into him.
Yeah. I think that he's honestly probably the kid I would say that I identified the most with.
Yeah, I, as a kid, hated anytime something got on my hands that was dirty.
Yep. Same, dude.
Sticky. Couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
It was just gross.
Same.
I was also not the type of kid to go rooting around in sewers.
No. Gray water. It's piss and poop.
It's gross.
Gross, man. Yeah, I was definitely ruled, I think, a lot by my fears and anxieties as a kid, a lot, which is something I still wrestle with quite a bit. But
all the time.
Definitely gotten better than I was when I was a kid. But yeah, I think when I was a kid, it's like all the stuff that I had learned about, germs and fucking religion and everything else just
everything
like kept me kind of freaked out. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. I think that I lived a very fear-based childhood in a lot of ways. It probably kept me from having a lot of fun.
In general, most humans have a fear-based childhood. Yeah. Everything's scary. The people who aren't afraid are the ones who have something wrong with their brain. They have that thing where they can't feel empathy and they're like, I don't see why anything's a problem.
So what if I die?
Yeah.
So what if you die? Who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Well, ultimately, though, I mean, I guess if you think about it, those kinds of fears are what progress evolution.
It's true.
Make us survive sometimes.
It is true, yeah. Yeah.
Although fear of stuff that, like, again, I was maybe taught from, like, the Bible and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not really so much.
That's a little imaginary fear. But there's some real fears out there. Like, the kids who are like, let's run into that cave. Those are the kids who back in the day would have been eaten by bears.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly right, man. Yeah, the kid that plays Eddie, I think, does a really great job of, like I said, not just being ruled by his fears and idiosyncrasies, but it is part of his character. But it's just part of. Yeah. Not his entire character. What about the kid that plays Bill, Stuttering Bill?
Old Stuttering Bill. He did a really good job.
He does a good job.
He's got good hair.
Great hair on that kid.
He's got good hair
on that kid.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job of the stuttering seeming more natural than...
Yeah, he did. He didn't really play up the whole... the thing that...
Yeah, that was what the kid in the first one did. Just a lot of... And it's like, that's not how stuttering works.
I was going to say, like, have you ever known somebody that has a legit speech impediment stutter? It's not like that at all. So I think the way that they portrayed it in this is good, where it's not something that's constantly a part of, every time he talks, but it's also not disrespectful and shitty or mocking in any way.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be.
No, fuck no. Like, you can help that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing is his friends don't even make fun of him about it.
Yeah.
Like, unless, when Finn Wolfhard was mad at him, that's about it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, that's... tons of people with stutters have friends, and they don't get shit about it every day. And that's... I think they portrayed it much more naturally in this.
I think that the character of Bill is like a little vanilla. It's like a little one-dimensional.
I think he's supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be the one-dimensional protagonist that basically the idea is he and Bev are going to get together in the end, live happily ever after. And what we know from the book and the miniseries is that's not what happens.
No.
And he becomes different because of it. Mm-hmm. Like, he's this vanilla, everything's going vanilla for him. Then his brother Georgie dies. Then this girl he has a crush on, they don't end up together. All of that changes Bill. Yeah. Makes him a different person in the future.
Yeah, so my complaints about him being kind of vanilla are, well, that's sort of how his character's
that's what he's supposed to be. Yeah.
What do you think about old chubby Ben?
Ben, local boy.
Yeah?
From the Tri-City area.
No shit. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
He's often at the expos and stuff.
Holy shit! Yeah. That's fucking cool. I did not know that, man. He's so adorable.
Yeah, he's a super cute kid
with his new kids on the block. Love.
He plays it so good. Like, he plays. I mean, I don't remember the kid in the 1990 miniseries. Even I don't remember.
I don't either. Honestly,
Ben well.
No, I don't.
But this kid is very memorable.
Yeah, is.
He's much more. Has much more personality to him. I love when he basically screws up talking to Bev that first time. The way he's just like,
he walks around dragging his headphones, which are still playing the music behind him. Dude, he's just so wonderfully awkward, but at the same time, kind of strikes gold every now and then.
Yeah, every once in a while he gets lucky. Yeah,
yeah, and you can tell that he's fat and nerdy, but it's like Bev, who he idolizes, doesn't think of him as fat nerdy
kid. Yeah, she doesn't see him that way, and nobody seems to see him that way except for the bullies.
Yeah, and himself.
And that's what bullies do, is just find insecurity and play off of it. So it's not even like people care about the thing they're pointing out, it's that you care about it.
And I'll tell you what, to you, man, as a straight dude, the thing that I've found out, chicks don't really care about much anything that you're worried about yourself.
Yeah, women in general aren't as they aren't as worried about looks as we think they are. Which is actually true of men too, I've noticed. Too. I think we all are overly obsessed with looks and don't realize that most people don't care that much. Like, you see a pretty person, it's like, pretty person, cool. Yeah. That's it. It doesn't, if they don't have a personality, whatever, I'm not interested.
Yeah. I think ultimately that's the thing, is most people are just really stoked to meet somebody who's funny and not a fucking asshole.
Yes. Being not an asshole is probably the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's honestly probably the thing that you can do that will get you laid the fastest. Not be a fucking jerk.
Yeah. Not at all. Just not even be a jerk.
Be funny.
Hey,
don't be a
dickhead. Here's my personality. Oh, not interested? Cool. Moving on. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the way that they play his character, where it's like, yeah, he's this chubby kid and stuff, but the cool chick doesn't care.
Yeah.
I even love those little inside jokes they have about New Kids on the Block and stuff. You got the right stuff to fix you up. It's their joke that he's secretly into New Kids on the Block. She finds that poster in his room. Mm-hmm. What a great little tension breaker that is. Yeah. Whenever all the kids are in his room and they're checking all the pictures of Derry and the history and all that stuff, she opens that door and she points at the poster.
Oh no.
Yeah. But then at the same time, she's not out to humiliate him or make him feel like a jerk, so she closes the door. So it's it stays their inside joke.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great little interaction between those kids.
I think it's a better setup for the future where Ben is the skinny, good-looking guy.
Totally.
And Bev is obviously into him as an adult. So, I think it's a better setup than we got in the 1990 version.
Mm-hmm. The kid that plays him is good. I don't think he's as good as Richie or Eddie or Bill.
No, but he doesn't have as much experience either. He's not had as many acting roles. Those guys, a lot of those kids have been in a number of things since they've been, little bitty.
It's worth mentioning for, I think, that reasons that we will probably see in part 2, that the character of Ben absorbed a lot of the traits of the character of Mike
Right.
I don't really understand exactly why. Again, maybe something that's going to be coming, but in the original and in the book,
Mike is the library guy. He
the black
becomes
kid.
a librarian.
Yeah, he's the guy that like goes deep into the history of Derry and stays in town and stuff like this. Mike in this really doesn't get a lot to work with.
Yeah, this is one of the threads I've got to pull on here. Is Mike. First off, he's basically has no personality in this.
No. And I never really feel like he has any reason to be a part of this tightly knit group of friends. Like, he just kind of shows up and it's like, he's an outcast. Cool, hang out with us.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any of the rapport they have with each other.
No,
like,
you never feel like he bonds with them.
And that's not the actor's fault. That's
no,
the writing's fault.
It's the writing's fault.
Yeah,
it is.
He should have more interactions with them that show he's part of the group.
Yeah, he really kind of feels like a tacked-on token black character, like what you'd see in an 80s movie or something.
And what you also see oftentimes with tacked-on black characters, and in reality, what a lot of people think about black people, is that they are immune to pain. Think about...
How do you mean?
Think about how many times in this movie Mike gets hit.
He gets beat on a lot in this.
He gets beat on a lot. He's not much bigger than any of the other kids.
No.
As a child who gets hit that one time by Henry with like a fucking tire iron or something, he would be down. He'd be crying. He's a child. But no, because he's black, he doesn't feel that pain. It's actually been discovered that doctors treat black patients' pain less than they treat a white person's pain.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they don't connect in the same way, and for some reason, a lot of people hold the belief that black people don't feel as much pain as white people.
What in the hell? I didn't. This is news to me.
Yeah, so watching this in this movie, seeing that, and really looking at how many times he gets hit in comparison to all the other kids, and how he seems to not react to pain. It's like, that's...
Wow. Yeah, it's like, now that you're mentioning that, it's like with the other kids, like we see, Ben gets that H cut into his stomach, and it's like a huge deal, and it's like, we need to go to the pharmacy, we need to fix you up.
He gets punched in the head, and it suddenly goes like muted sound.
Oh, yeah. Like when a bomb goes off and your hearing is buzzing.
The what's his name? Germaphobe kid gets his arm broken. It's a huge deal.
Totally, yeah.
But every time Mike gets hurt, it's nothing.
What the fuck?
Nobody even mentions it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. Is that just one of those like societal dehumanization of blacks kind of things?
Yes, it is a dehumanization technique.
That's fucked up.
Believing people feel less pain.
I had no idea about that. And it's like, now that you're talking that way, it's like, now I'm thinking about all the horrible police brutality we see on a weekly basis and stuff like this, and this is kind of starting to make sense.
Yeah. You'll see a video of a man who's just killed 2 people running around naked with a knife.
Oh, Jesus. I was going to ask you if you saw
and
that.
The police are just like, let's just chase him. If he'd been a black man unarmed who hadn't done anything, he probably got shot. Yeah.
Oh, he definitely would. Dude, like, that cop has like a damn assault rifle on his back, and he's running away from that naked guy.
Because he doesn't want to hurt him. Yeah. Because he's a white person. And
then the naked guy grabs a guy that worked at a church and like grabs him by the neck and starts choking him, and doesn't get shot.
Yeah, the cops don't do anything.
What the fuck? I saw that the other day.
The cops will shoot innocent bystanders to shoot a black person. They will do everything they can to not harm a white person who's just killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
They don't care.
He killed a woman and a child.
Yep.
That's unbelievable.
It is.
Good God. I'm glad you pointed that out. I didn't really pick up on that with Mike. I just thought that they gave a lot of his attributes to Ben and were like, well, it'd be a bad thing to cut this character out of the movie, so he's got to be here doing something.
Yeah, which, again, is racist.
Also shitty.
Yeah. And also the way they portray him is like, the things his uncle says to him, I guess it might be a conversation that some black families have.
Yeah, you gotta be tough.
You've got to be tough. This world fucking sucks.
Yeah. Well, especially, again, it's the 80s, Yeah, this is not a woke generation.
Why doesn't Mike get to be a kid while everyone else is being a kid?
Nah, he doesn't.
No. He has to be an adult.
Yeah.
They totally skip Mike's childhood. Now, I understand racism is a thing, but children are children. They don't care what color they are. Mm-hmm. They might have a different world experience.
But when you're with your
they're
friends,
still children. Yes.
Yeah. It's a different story when you're with your friends and your circle of
Yeah.
buddies and stuff. Yeah, you're right. He never really gets to have fun and cut up at all like the other kids do.
I don't remember him doing. Yeah, there's no moment with him having fun.
No.
That sucks.
That does suck.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of a dick after you just talked about all that stuff to say, too. It's like, I didn't think that he was the best actor of all the kids.
But he's in Castle Rock, and he's a great actor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is in Castle Rock.
He just didn't
He's
get
great in
anything to work with.
Well, fuck.
It sucks.
That does kind of suck now that you mention it.
And I wonder what they're going to do with Mike in this new
I do
sequel,
too.
because if he's... Like, is it going to be that Ben left and basically Mike took up what Ben was doing before? Or, I mean...
In which case, why have Ben do it in the first place?
Why have Ben do it in the first place?
Like, I am wondering if they're going to have Ben be the one that stayed and Mike somehow gets called back. I just don't know.
That could work, yeah. But
I mean, 'cause Mike has reason to
they
leave.
set up that Mike was going to stay because he's going to work for his uncle or whatever.
But Mike has a lot of reason to leave.
Yes, he absolutely
so it
does.
Make more sense.
Yeah,
He's
go
like,
to a
I gotta
bigger
get the
city.
fuck out
Yeah.
of here. This place fucking sucks, you know? Yeah, that is interesting. And we also got Stan, the Jewish kid. He doesn't really do a lot.
He doesn't have a whole lot, but the painting stuff is, for me, I think the scariest part of the...
Yeah, and I want to talk about the scares and stuff in the movie a little bit later on, too.
But, I mean, in the OG and the 1990 miniseries, Stan kills himself.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility they didn't want us to get too invested in him, as he will probably be killing himself at the beginning of part 2. But that
makes it less impactful.
Yeah, it makes it less impactful. So why not make us care more about him?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the movie started and like Richie killed himself, I'd be like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
man.
that would be the worst. Yeah. But I mean, that's Bill Hader. He's definitely in the movie.
But you got to think too. I mean, we're talking about, what is the Losers Club? It's like 7 kids.
7 kids, yeah.
And it was sourced from like a 1,400 page book.
Yeah.
You can't give them all tons of backstory.
That's true.
I think that other than Mike, they invested their time pretty wisely in describing these kids' home lives. I think that seeing the home life of Bev, Eddie, Bill.
Yeah, we never saw Richie's home life.
No, you never do you?
We see.
But his character's so big, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we see a lot of. Well, I mean, we see Bill with his dad. We never see his mom.
She's playing piano at the first.
Yeah, but you can't see her face.
No.
And then when you see her in the projector, her face is covered by her hair.
What in the fuck? You're right.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then,
what's up with that?
I don't know.
Do we ever see either sets of any kids' parents in this?
No.
Like mom and dad?
No.
So they're all kind of from these like fractured families.
The only mom and dad we know fully about are Mike's. They died in a fire.
They died, yeah. So we never know them anyway.
Yeah. So everybody else is just...
Yeah, we just know
we
Eddie's
either see
mom.
one parent or none.
Yeah, Bev's dad, who's a creep. Eddie's mom, who feeds his neuroses.
Yeah.
Bill's dad, who seems like a dickhead.
Yeah, he really does.
His mom, who's non-existent. We see Henry's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Which all that stuff with Henry is really
that's great. That's
really
awesome.
well done.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, I had thought about that.
I mean, that is a smart thing to do, of course, in this movie that's about children dealing with this, to make the parents kind of absent.
Yeah.
And it works in an 80s setting with latchkey kids in the 80s. It was pretty common that kids didn't see their parents a whole lot.
Well, that's the cool thing about this is like not only is it set in the 80s, but it also has that feeling that a lot of other 80s movies, like let's say Elm Street, have, where it's like the parents don't believe kids.
Right.
That's something that's all over 80s movies, is the kids are going through something ridiculous and awful and the parents just don't believe it.
They even have that Nightmare on Elm Street 5 marquee.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, I got that Dream Child up in there, man. It's not a good movie.
Not a good movie at all. No.
But I like, too, that like they even kind of made this feel like an 80s movie, you know?
They
Which
did.
I guess the original book did, too, I suppose. But they really played it up in this.
Yeah. I think the 80s-ness of it was a good background without diving too deep into the 80s, though, too. It didn't get into a lot of nostalgia about the 80s. It was just like, well, this is the 80s. This is what it looked like. This is what it felt like. This is how kids talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and two, it's not... Well, it's kind of like what we talked about with like that first season of Stranger Things, where it's like, when you got into the 80s, it wasn't instantly neon colors.
Right, yeah.
Fucking high tops and spandex.
Yeah, there was the
everywhere.
conversion from the 70s dark, or the 70s like brownish.
Yeah.
orangish, dark greens.
Wood paneling.
Yeah, wood paneling, all that.
Yeah, that's the 80s that we grew up in.
Yeah.
You know? And this movie does a good job of staying very accurate, I think, to the time period that's portrayed in. What do you think about Henry and the Bullies?
Man, so much better than the miniseries.
Way
very
better.
menacing. That kid, scary. He's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kid that plays Henry?
Yeah, the kid that plays Henry.
Yeah.
The kid that plays Patrick does a good job of being that, like...
Is that the skinny, dark-haired kid?
Yeah, the one who gets killed in the sewers.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a great, like, kind of crony to head bully Henry.
Then you got the Belch guy, who, unlike in the 90s miniseries in the book, isn't just burping all the time.
Thank fucking God.
I hated that part.
Which, P.S., side note, again, another experience from the show last night. Is it just me, or should doing anything but pissing while you're at a urinal be punishable by death? Because I think that it should. Because, like, dude, when you're standing in a urinal next to some guy who just starts loudly burping or farting...
It's usually this. This is for the female listeners who have never been in a men's urinal before. Guy walks up, clop, clop, clop. What you been doing?
Oh my, I don't want to fucking talk to you.
Do not talk to me when I'm trying to pee.
Don't fucking talk to me. Dude, just people letting it all loose at a pisser. Please stop.
Yeah.
Please stop doing that. I at least like the illusion of separation that you being in a stall, burping and farting has. Standing right next to me in open air? Please, no.
Men don't have it rough, for sure.
No.
But remember, have you ever pissed in a trough?
Oh, hell yeah. Playing fucking metal shows all over the country. What do you think? Many times I have.
You feel like a fucking animal.
It's disgusting.
Jesus
it's disgusting.
Christ.
Have you ever been in one of those ones where it's not even a trough? It's like a stainless steel wall that has drains in the floor. So you just piss against a wall next to a bunch of guys with their dicks out.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. But the other thing, too, that I like that they did with the Henry character, and again, it's been since we did the episode that I watched the original series, so I can't remember if they did this, but they did a really good job of showing that while he's out among all the other kids, is this menacing bully, fucking pick on everybody and all this kind of stuff. When he's at home and he's with his dad, he's absolutely powerless and weak.
He's bullied.
He's bullied by his dad. I mean, every bully is getting bullied by somebody above them on the food chain.
There's nothing scarier than a cop who has absolute power and uses it to corrupt means.
Yeah.
Because in this case, if Henry were to go to the police and say, my dad's abusing me, they would ask him.
Yeah, and they wouldn't believe him.
They wouldn't believe him.
Yeah, he's
They'd
one of
go
them.
to his dad and be like, you wouldn't believe what your son came in here and said. And then
he'd go home and beat the shit out of him.
He'd go home and beat the shit out of him. There's an absolute lack of oversight to that type of power that is so frightening.
Yeah, they did a really great job of showing you where these types of kids come from.
Yeah.
You know? Really, really, really cool. I like how they played his character.
And also, like, I mean, in the book, of course, Patrick he shows more of the signs of being a potential serial killer than any of the other lackeys. The others seem to just be lackeys.
Yeah.
Who are like, oh, he pushes people around. I don't want to get pushed around by him, so I'll hang out with him.
Can't beat him, join him.
But Patrick, in the books, has much more of that sadistic personality, which I think comes out some with the way the kid played it, but they didn't do much. And then they end up killing him, which was a little different than the books. I kind of wanted to see where they would go with that. And I'm also wondering, is Henry dead? There's no way he survived that fall, right?
I mean, I don't know. Because the thing is Henry comes back in part 2 to be really, really important in a very cool way, too.
And as far as I understand, he's supposed to be in the second one. So did it save him, perhaps? I mean, it seemed to be using him.
Yeah.
It was talking to him through the TV and telling them kill them all, etc. Like,
yeah.
It seems like most teenagers are unaffected by it, but because like they weren't seeing the it stuff. Patrick just wandered into the area where it was and gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry is being affected by it, but not scared by it. So like it's using the teenagers. It's almost like the adults completely ignore it. The children are absolutely terrified by it, but teenagers seem to be this middle ground where it can use them.
Well, here's the thing, though, too, is if you think about it, it uses the characters who have a fear. And as far as we know from the gang of bullies, Henry is the only one that really had something to fear. He feared his
the others
dad
are just having fun being assholes.
Yeah,
but
they might just be assholes, or like you said, afraid of Henry.
Right.
At worst.
Yeah.
You know, but he's the one that actually has something to be afraid of. So maybe that's why it kind of chose him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Know? But yeah, you're right. It's like, surely he didn't die in that fall, but man, it seemed pretty fucking final.
It's a long fall.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So, I mean, maybe they're going to play it like, oh, he spent 20 years in a fucking full body cast or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know anything about the original, basically what happens is the murders get pinned on Henry Bowers.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the insane asylum and then somehow escapes.
Yeah, and then is again manipulated by it. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how that works out. I hope they do something cool with it though, because that was one of the better parts of the second part.
Yes.
Of the miniseries, in my opinion.
So I'm assuming he didn't die. There's no way.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of the kids' fears, like we kind of get introduced to all of these kids' fears and phobias in. I mean, it's damn near a montage towards the front of the movie where it's like, here's this kid, something scary happens. Here's this kid, something scary happens.
Yeah.
Here's this kid, guess what? Something scary happens. And, that part to me, I think when I was watching it the first time as being like, this is a scary movie, I started being like, I'm not getting scared. I know something scary is going to happen.
Right.
But I think that part, honestly, was more character exploration. It's that wasn't really there to scare us. It was to tell us what the kids fear. Yeah,
I think... Of all of those, Ben's was the one that... Ben's and... what's the one with the painting? What was that kid's name?
Eddie.
No, not Eddie.
No, it's Stan.
Stan, right.
Yeah, with the
So
food
Ben
lady.
and Stan's both had more impact to me, but they were still like... Yeah, you're right, where it was just like, okay, well, I know something scary is going to happen.
Yeah.
They're exploring each one of their fears.
It's character development, not scary movie stuff, really. Yeah, the thing with Ben, where he's been like researching in the library, and he finds out about the Easter explosion and like all these kids
kid's
died.
head up in a tree.
Yeah. And then, dude, like the reveal of that headless kid.
Yeah, it was so perfect, too, because he's walking down the stairs and you're like, oh, it's a person.
Yeah.
That person does not have a head.
Yeah, because at first, like, yeah, you're right. You see it through the door frame where it's like he has legs, he has arms, he has a torso. Where's his fucking head?
All the normal stuff.
It's like a smoking stump. He's dropping those Easter eggs. And I love, too, how, like, it looks like... I assume that was a real person wearing a green head and they just green screened his head out. I don't think that's a full CGI character. No. But they snipped frames out.
Yeah, they did the Widdershins, I think that's what that's called, where it's just like jerky.
Just a little twitchy, but not in that ridiculous, late 90s, early 2000s, everything's twitchy kind of way. I thought that was really well played, and I did enjoy that. Did you notice, too, like, before all that happens, while Ben is reading the books and stuff in the library, the, like... weird lady standing behind him that's out of focus.
Yes.
I noticed that this time. I didn't notice it the first time.
What is going on with that?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But then like later you see her again and she's just being totally normal. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is going on with that?
I'm not sure.
It's like one of the librarian ladies. Cool.
Yeah, I also... If you pay attention when he keeps turning the page, the figure number is the same. It says 149 under every single one of those pictures. So that like...
Whoa.
Like, basically, Pennywise is making it seem like he's turning a page.
Well, like a flip book or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Cool.
That's cool. Now, you, if I recall, whenever we talked about it the first time, you liked the whole flute lady thing, right? You said you thought that was really freaky.
The painting, it screwed with me a lot, and I was wondering where it came from, and apparently there's an artist named Amedeo Modigliani.
Amadeo.
Amadeo. He's an Italian artist, and
he's making a painting.
Oh, hey, let's have some vino. He apparently Andy Muschietti's dad or something had one of his paintings in the house, and if you look him up,
why would you do that? They're terrifying.
If you look him up, one of his paintings looks so much like the painting in this movie.
So like freaked him out as he was a kid or something.
It definitely freaked him out a lot because the mama, like scary mama character, looks like that too. So it's like really stuck with him that frightening type of like eyes slightly offset and vacant, empty eyes.
Peanut head people.
Yeah. So that's really fucked with him.
The thing about that took me out of it the first time that I saw it is that I saw the flute lady, sneak up behind him and stuff. And I was like, fucking CGI.
Right.
But then this time around, going into that scene, I was like, well, here comes that CGI flute lady scene. And it came around to it, and I said to myself, wait a second. It's a painting.
Yeah.
It's supposed to look like this painting came to life.
It's like two-dimensional.
It's not supposed to be realistic or humanoid, because it's not. It's what if this lady in this painting entered the three-dimensional world? Like, it's supposed to look not real. So I was kind of like, oh.
That was the part that fucked with me with it a lot. It was just like, it looks out of place. Yeah. It's not right. And it really fucked with me. I like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I love too that lady in the later in the sewer scenes and stuff. Oh,
she's like chewing on his face. No, whenever the flute lady's like chewing on his face.
Where she like has holy cow. I mean, that's it with the big like whatever
mouth inside of the mouth, just like sucking on his face.
It's crazy.
Whoa, that looks really fucking weird, man.
I think for me that and the projector scare,
the projector scene, holy shit.
It's so amazing. Like, he's so big and it's just like frightening.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look bad at all. Like, it's obviously some green screen, but like they did it so well.
I think it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I think it looks really, really awesome. And the thing about that too, that was so effective, this kind of goes into the marketing and things as well. That scene where he pops out of the projector screen is preceded by that deal where the projector starts shooting frames on its own, and you see the mom's face transform into his face. Yeah. So the thing is like, whenever I was watching that in the theater the first time, I was like, oh, here's that scene they showed in the preview. Right. Oh, the projector comes to life and it's showing his mom and it turns into it.
So you don't expect. Yeah. That's not even all.
Yeah. Dude, like, it was that kind of thing where it's like, oh, I know what's happening here. What the fuck was that? Because I really was lured into this false sense of security. I thought that I had seen the punchline already. And then that happened, and it knocked me on my fucking ass.
I think they do that smartly with previews sometimes. I'm not a huge fan of previews, but that is one thing that they can do well, where they make you feel like you've seen it, so that what follows actually is a bigger surprise.
This was one of those cases to the max, dude. And I love, too, that, like, in that scene where he pops out, they slightly enhance like his teeth and his overall look. So it's like, not only does he pop out of there and he's gigantic out of nowhere, but he also looks kind of fucked up.
Yeah, he looks scarier.
It's like normal. Whenever Bilbo has the creepy face when he reaches for the ring. Where it's just like, whoa. Or like Large Marge. It's a Large Marge thing where it's like, not only is this weird, he looks weirder than he did before. What the fuck? So cool. So well done. That's honestly one of the most frightening scenes I've seen in a movie in the past like 10 or 15 years, personally, And I know it doesn't hit everybody the same way, but for me, it really did.
Yeah.
And the amount of violence and gore in the movie really surprised me, too.
Yeah, it's way more than the 90 miniseries for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even the opening scene with Georgie, where it's like...
It just rips his arm off.
Yeah, and you see, it's like, what, fucking 7 or 8-year-old kid? Crawling away with his arm off.
Yeah.
I mean, that just kind of let you know right at the very front of the movie, you're getting into some shit here.
They opened it with, this is going to get fucky.
Yeah. And dude, fucking poor Georgie, man. It's like he gets his arm ripped off. He gets that bolt gun shot into his head later on in the movie.
He gets puppeted.
Yeah, he does.
That's frightening.
Oh, man, yeah.
You'll float too. Like,
that's
so
my cool.
God, what?
And then Pennywise like rises up out of the water
and then runs at him. Like, oh my
That's
God.
actually pretty effective.
It's very effective.
It's pretty effective.
Because like earlier, the thing is like, you have Georgie go down to the basement and then run up the stairs. We all did that as kids.
Everybody.
If you go down to the basement, you run up the goddamn stairs. Yeah. You don't know what the fuck's down there, even though you know exactly what's down there. Nothing. You still think there's something down there. So, like, Georgie does the run up the stairs, and then Bill seems to be a little more brave about going downstairs, but now he's also having to do the run up the stairs.
Yeah.
Like, he's found the fear.
It does the thing that is so effective where it plays upon the things that we were all scared of as kids.
Yes.
Like, I remember, and actually, it's one of those things that does kind of carry with me even to this day, but especially when I was a kid, like, being around people that were sick or unwell in some way, I was terrified of, again, because I was also kind of a germaphobe and still in some ways kind of am. You know, those scenes with Eddie and the leper are just really effective to me because that would scare me to death if I was around somebody that was heavily diseased as a kid. Although I will say that the CGI on the leper guy, I don't think looks very good. I wish they would have done that full practical. I wish that it couldn't have been hard to do, man.
Yeah, it actually ended up looking kind of like, remember in Holidays, the Easter segment?
Yeah.
Kind of looks like that.
Yeah, right?
If you haven't seen the Easter segment, I won't spoil it for you, but you should see it.
Boy,
Check out Holidays. It's fucking weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with Holidays, it looked better because it's practical.
Yeah, it did. It did look better.
Yeah, I do wish that they would have done that. Like this movie,
most stuff seems to be practical in the movie.
I was gonna say, like I saw a thing with the director where he said that like people think this movie is like really heavily laden with CGI, but it's actually pretty minimal.
Yeah,
there's obvious stuff. Obviously, the flute lady. Obviously, that kid's head being off, and some of the wild stuff that Pennywise does is obviously CG. Yeah. But then other things like even that cool transformation that Pennywise does after fake Georgie has been shot in the head, and like the legs like spring out and stuff.
That's awesome.
Where he's transforming. I think that's practical, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it doesn't look CG.
No,
either it was really well done or it was practical.
Yeah. And some of the CG is well done. Like I love that scene towards the end where they're all fighting Pennywise and he's doing all those crazy transformations where like he has like big crab claws and the like hands shoot out of his mouth and stuff. I think that's pretty well done CG.
I love the scene where they're all just beating the shit out of Pennywise.
I know, right?
It was so satisfying.
They get the upper hand there for a little while. Yeah, dude. And now I'm gonna have to kill this fucking clown.
Yes, that was such a good line.
The Richie like fake out is awesome, man. It's awesome. Although I will say, again, this is one of those things that upon a more critical viewing, I did take, I think, deeper note of this time than I did the first time. Ultimately the kids go down there in the sewer and stuff to rescue Bev. And I think that they missed a prime opportunity with the Bev character to modernize this in a way that doesn't just feel like, oh, they're just trying to be woke. And by the way, that's just one of those things that is really kind of getting on my nerves, where it's just like, oh, they did this because they're trying to be woke.
I love how you can take something and just say they just did this for this reason, and some people will go, good, dismissed, you're right.
Yeah,
I like, okay, that's the reason they did it. Is it bad? Well, like, why? Just because
why is that bad?
Just because you can
they had
decide,
a purpose, lame.
Like, you can see why they made that decision, doesn't make it bad. Just because something's predictable doesn't make it bad.
Yeah.
Like, why is it that, I mean, it's a teenage frame of mind. And we all deal with teenagers all the time as though they're adults online. It's the craziest shit. We read this stuff on Reddit and we're like, that's probably another sane adult. No, it's
probably not.
It's a 12-year-old.
Probably.
And teenagers think stupid shit like that.
I know I did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because as a teenager, you think everything's black and white. You think you've got it all figured out all the fucking time.
I did.
And you don't.
I didn't
you
at all.
don't. Yeah,
no.
You don't have shit figured out.
So with the character of Bev, I think that they missed a great opportunity to do something different with that character.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
why not take Ben? Why not take somebody else?
Exactly. Yeah, because as we've talked about here, they changed some of the characters pretty fearlessly and maybe purposelessly in some of these parts.
Maybe.
But with Bev, they had such an opportunity where the entire movie, she's not scared of Pennywise.
Yeah.
Like whenever Pennywise like grabs her by the throat and lifts her up, she's like, I'm not afraid of you. And he like smells her and is like really disappointed that she doesn't fear him. And it's because she's been through so much in her personal life.
Yeah, she's
with her
had actual real life shit to deal with.
Yeah, that a scary clown that makes illusions of scary stuff isn't a big deal to her. And they had a great opportunity, I think, to show the message that the shit that you've been through in life can serve to make you less scared and to make you fearless and to make you somebody who can stand up to anything because you've been through the shit. But instead, she still ends up the damsel in distress. I think that's a little weak and a little short-sighted for that character. I'm not just saying, oh, because she's a girl, she should have been powerful and been woke. No, even if it was a boy character that had been molested by his dad or whatever.
You want to see a resolution to that.
Yes, and also, too, to kind of give the message that, like, there is a light at the end of that tunnel.
Right.
Yeah, you've been through some shit, but look how powerful you are.
Right.
You know, you're now fearless because you've been through the worst things that somebody can go through.
I find it interesting that the fear that Pennywise uses against her is blood and hair, which is puberty.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. She fears becoming
a woman. Because she sees men as her dad.
Well, and here's the thing, too. And again, this is all kind of unspoken in the movie. Do you think that her dad was already molesting her, or do you think that she was fearing becoming a full-blown
I think that
sexually attractive woman because that's when her dad was really going to start raping her?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I feel like the way that she knows that the guy behind the counter at the pharmacy
is a creep.
Yeah. Seems to indicate that she's had a lot of contact with creeps.
Yeah.
Which is sad and scary.
So do you think that she fears puberty and adulthood because she might attract more of that attention, or because she might get pregnant as a result of that?
Maybe
kind of abuse?
both. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, where it's like she knows it's going to get worse, and that she knows. I mean, the fact that the farmer, like, if how are they?
She knows how to play that guy.
How are they, like 11, 12?
Yeah, 12, I think.
If a 12-year-old girl started flirting with me, I'd be like, no, this is inappropriate.
Yeah.
That's strange. Like,
and I'd be like, what's your damage? Something bad has happened to you. But that's the
thing is, she knows which men she could go for. And the fact is, like, there are far too many goddamn child molesters in the world. Like, we've
one is too many.
Yeah, one is too many.
Yeah.
An exceptionally rich group of child molesters who maybe, I don't know, used to have a guy named Jeffrey Epstein who acquired them such girls, and maybe Jeffrey Epstein was going to talk, and maybe he somehow just died in prison.
Oh no, and the cameras in the hallway were off.
Case closed. That's the scariest goddamn thing about this world, is how many fucking child molesters there are, and the fact that she can pick one out.
Yeah, and I know how to play this guy. I
that guy right there, he's going to want to try to fuck me.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. That does kind of speak of her
maybe
experience
having
in that
more
area.
experience, which is a very sad reality of men who molest their children, sharing their children with other men who molest children.
Which is a story that is as old as time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Fucking awful.
Gross motherfuckers.
Yeah. Very, very fucking awful. But do you get what I'm saying about Bev, as far as, like, they missed an opportunity there to tell a story about people who have been through trauma,
I mean, she
becoming strong.
Whenever they go into the house at the well house the first time, she's the only one who says she wants to go in. Like, everybody's like, they want to raise their hand to not go in.
Don't go in the Niebolt house.
Right. She wants to go in, and then they don't let her. And there's no explanation for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened in that moment in between her wanting to go in, them stepping in? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, they drew straws, maybe. Did they draw straws? Yeah. I don't know. Did they mention that?
I don't remember.
But again, if you're drawing straws, wouldn't the person who says, I want to go in, be like, I don't need to draw a straw, I'm going to go in?
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think they could have played that character, I think.
Yeah, I agree
a little
with
bit
you.
better. And I'll backtrack to... because I think that out of context, even some of the things I just said might be portrayed as insensitive. I'm not at all trying to say be thankful for horrible shit that has happened to you.
Right, yeah.
You'll be fine. You'll be strong.
A person who has horrible
that.
shit to them doesn't have any more of an obligation to be a strong person than anyone else.
I'm not trying to tell anybody to be thankful for their trauma, or that should make them a superhero. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to say that could have been a good message for maybe some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, there definitely are young girls watching and young boys watching this movie going through the same thing. It would have been real nice for them to have a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think she comes across somewhat as that, but she could have been better, is what you're saying, and you're right. Yeah.
I think so, man. What do you think about the fact that they chose to set this in the 80s versus how the original was set in the 50s?
I think it's just it's a smart 27-year cycle thing to just think like, well, let's move ahead 27 years and then like 2017 minus 27, basically.
1990.
Yeah.
They worked that in all kinds of crazy ways too. They worked the numerology into everything. There's ways that you can turn the date that it was released into 27.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And even the date
September 5th. 2017. So yeah.
Yeah, there's some way that you can work that to where it becomes 27. And I think if I'm not mistaken, even the date that the new one comes out,
September 5th,
specifically adds up to 27 or multiplies to or something. I don't know. It's one of the deals you can work any set of numbers to become
That's true.
anything you want.
The number 23.
Ooh, it's everywhere. You know? Yeah, I think the 80s thing is cool. I'm okay with it. And this movie does kind of deal with some of the stuff that we were kind of talking about the level of shit talk that we all gave each other in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it even at one point Henry drops a hard F derogatory term
for a homosexual.
Yeah, which is one of those things that I could see a lot of people being like, that's really insensitive that they had him say that.
It is. Well, that's what it was. It is really insensitive, but that was the 80s as well. The 80s were very insensitive.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's glorifying somebody calling somebody that.
To portray 2010's woke children in the 80s is like putting aliens in your movie. Like, they don't fit.
Yeah.
The kids would not be afraid to say that word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it would be kind of a disservice to act like that's not how things were back then.
Yeah, to show it in with a Vaseline lens and be like, the 80s were so great.
Yeah.
But they weren't so great.
Yeah, people love gay people in the 80s.
No, they did not.
No, they didn't at all.
They did not. And especially in a small town in Maine in the 80s. That would be something you were very unaccustomed to.
So is it easy on the ears?
No.
No.
But it's accurate.
Maybe it's a sign of hope that when we hear somebody say that in a movie,
we're like,
oh man.
Yeah.
Maybe that shows us that, wow, maybe we've changed a little?
I was actually really surprised that Henry didn't drop the N-bomb.
Same.
Yeah.
In the book, he was very racist towards Mike. He killed his dog and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does say, even in this movie, I wish I had been the one to kill your parents.
Which, I mean, it's not, I wish I would have killed your black parents, but...
Right, but that is what he's wished. He wished he had killed some black people, yeah.
Yeah, they did tone down how racist and stuff Henry was.
Yeah, so there was some toning down and then some non-capitulation on using that F-bomb. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what, like, when we're portraying times in the past, like, we do need to be accurate, I think. Like, to pretend that the 50s were a great time is shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even think about, like, if they showed in fucking Mad Men,
right,
women were in the boardroom calling all the shots like they do today.
In fact,
that's historically inaccurate.
In Mad Men, the women that get anywhere have to go through so much humiliation and terrible shit in Mad Men to actually get somewhere. Yeah. And even then aren't making as much as the men, and they know it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's accurate to the 60s.
Yeah, and when you see that kind of stuff now, you should be watching that going, I sure am glad things have changed a little bit.
Exactly.
They're not equal.
A little bit.
They're not equal.
They're not equal. They're still only a little bit different.
But it's great to be able to watch stuff like this and be like, things used to be like that, and that sucked.
Yeah.
You know?
But a lot of people watch it and go, boy, those were the days.
Make America great again.
Oh, hiya.
Fuck me, dude. What do you think about the humor element? Because I know that a lot of people had the complaint that they were like, this movie is just too yucky. I thought it was hilarious.
What?
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Did you see the 90
miniseries? The jokes in that were yuck type of jokes.
God, like, yeah, especially Richie and stuff.
Yeah, it was terrible. This is more accurate child humor.
Yeah.
It's the type of stuff they say to each other. It's funny.
Where the fuck did her legs go?
Where the fuck did her legs go? That was awesome, yeah.
Yeah, the humor in this comes from just like casual shit talk that kids would do in these situations.
Yeah. And that's it's
very natural humor.
When a kid tries to be funny to an adult, rarely actually funny. It's more cute.
Yeah.
But when you do overhear kids talking and being like, kids talking that don't know an adult's nearby, it's funny as shit.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Not because they have some amazing insight in humanity. It's just to think like, right, that's how kids talk.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Well, Bad News Bears kind of started that.
Yes.
You know? And I think that this continues that. I don't think that any of the humor in this movie is like forced.
No.
You know, nobody gets a damn pie in the face or anything like that, you know? To me, all the humor in this comes very naturally of like, yeah, that's exactly what I would have said to my friends. That's how I would have shit talked them or whatever. I think it's all very good and it's surprisingly just very funny. I found myself laughing at this movie way more than I expected to.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the humor a lot. I think it added to the camaraderie of the kids.
Same. It all benefited the friendship circle that they had. Yeah.
I would imagine there'll be less humor with the adults, probably, because that's how adults are. I mean, you lose some of your sense of wonder and finding everything kind of funny. Everything becomes more serious.
Yeah. And that's something I was going to ask you about is like, compared to the first miniseries where we had this great stuff with the kids and then the adults show up and it kind of sucks. It's like they didn't really change the tones of the two parts of the miniseries. What are you hoping to see that they change here to make the adult segment different, considering they can't rely on the charisma and appeal and sympathy and empathy that we feel for children?
Yeah.
What do you hope that they do with the adult characters to draw us in and make this good?
I think it's the time for some of that research exposition, maybe to go deeper into the story, them try to really find out more about Pennywise. They can explore their relationships as kids, but also be developing the story. Like, they got 2 hours and 49 minutes is the runtime.
Yeah.
That, like, it seems to me there's gonna be a whole lot of figuring out what's going on. But also, I imagine the first 40 minutes will be convincing everyone to come back. So then 2 hours of, the last 30 minutes will be climax, denouement. In the middle, I imagine it's just going to be some of that, like, trying to really discover what's going on with this and how to stop it. Whereas before, they just figured, like, we'll beat it up and it dies, because that's kid logic.
Exactly.
The adults know, it's come back. Obviously, their kid logic didn't work. Adults know, well, we need to figure out how to actually kill it.
Yeah.
So I imagine it might be a little bit more dry than the kids. I'm sure they've found a way around. They have Bill Hader in there.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I've heard he fucking kills it in part 2. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I hope that they do play up, I think, the darkness, the loss of innocence, the loss of idealism that you experience when you go from being a kid to being an adult. I think that they can really play that up in this, considering how well they established us in that kid's environment and the, like you said, the logic of the kids and stuff. I hope that they can play that up. I just hope they go a lot more grisly and scary.
I think they will. Yeah, because if you have your opening kill in the first one be a child getting his arm ripped off, I think you gotta really amp it up for part 2.
Jessica Chastain said that it was like the bloodiest movie she's ever seen.
I've been watching some interviews with them, and like they seem to be indicating this movie is gonna be a great horror movie. I hope they're right.
Yeah, I do too. I have all the faith in the world. Based off of this one, I have all the faith that they know what they're doing, other than with Mike and possibly Bev. I have a lot of faith going into it, and I have a lot of expectations, because this first one really did completely exceed it. Although I will say, again, to kind of go back to some of the little complaints that I caught this time, I do think that some of the pacing is a little odd. It kind of seems like a horror movie with an on-off button at times.
Okay.
So, like, for example, whenever Bev has her fear revealed of all the blood gushing up out of the sink and stuff like that, it's very horrifying. It's extremely intense. She's laying on the floor crumpled up, and then her dad comes in, doesn't see what's going on. The soundtrack is super crazy. And then, like, literally the next scene is her and her friends in a montage cleaning it up to the soundtrack of The Cure.
Right.
Where it was like, holy shit, this is fucked up. Now they're friends in a montage.
Friends cleaning up blood
together. Where it's just like, oh, okay. It kind of feels like it goes on and off of the horror aspects. And don't get me wrong, this movie knew what it was doing, playing me up with a Cure song, which I do adore the fact that they put kind of a Cure sort of B-side in this movie, 6 different ways. Fuck, I love that song so much. So I do love that they snuck it into the movie. But do you get what I'm saying about kind of some of the pacing? It's like, you're in a horror movie. Nah, you're in Stand By Me.
Nah, it's just kids.
Yeah, here's 30 minutes of Stand By Me. Now back to the horror. It's a little
little disjointed maybe.
But at the same time, it's like, I think that if they would have kept the horror at a boil the entire time, you wouldn't have had that attachment of, here's real life kids in real life relationships that know each other and shit. You know what I mean? So maybe that's good.
You're right that it's disjointed, and right that it's good. Because we do need to become attached to these characters. So we need to see the children specifically in high stress situations are not going to be acting like themselves.
Right.
So we do need to see moments of levity and moments of them just being kids.
Well, and two, I like the bounce back effect that we get between the kids being caught in these awful situations and horrible things that they can't explain, but then also, you know, the next day they're yucking it up and being kids and shit talking each other. Mm-hmm. Kids have this amazing resiliency to be kids no matter what their horrible situation is.
Right.
And that's realistic.
It is.
So I do like that they keep that element in there where it's like, yeah, they're going through some shit, but they're still friends and joking around and stuff, because that's exactly what kids do.
I mean, that is true. The resiliency of kids, like, you know, the stuff that traumatizes you as a kid, it doesn't make you stop being a kid. It really just kind of resurfaces as you're growing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how to process it as a kid, so it just sticks around and you're constantly like mulling it over in your head, but you're also just being a kid.
Right. I think one other praise I have about this movie is that I thought that the soundtrack, both the original score and the licensed material,
so good.
I thought was really fantastic. I love that they gave us 80s music by The Cure and The Cult and XTC.
Yeah.
That is like, if you know it, you know it.
Right.
If you don't know it, you hear it and go, oh, it's 80s music. But it's not like, you know, fucking Take On Me and Like a Virgin and Ice Ice
it's
Baby.
Not the same exact stuff.
Hey, remember the fucking 80s? You know, it doesn't beat you over the head. It's all kind of B-side stuff.
Yeah, it's stuff that you would probably listen to more in the 80s. Like, if you were in the 80s, that would be your jam. Your jam is not what comes on the radio.
Or on the Spotify big 80s playlist.
Right.
Right. So I thought that the licensed material is great, and I love the original orchestral stuff. I thought that it was extremely haunting and very memorable and really set a lot of atmosphere. Musically, even like scale wise, I've not sat down and like figured out a lot of what, you know, was going on in the movie soundtrack, but it sounded to me like scale wise, a lot of it was based around, it's a scale called the melodic minor scale. And the melodic minor scale, just quick theory lesson with Uncle Ben right here. I'm going into my YouTube personality here for a second. It's just like a major scale. Okay. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Everybody knows the sound of a major scale, right? Okay. Only there's one note that's different. There's just one note, and that's it. And it's the third note. And as a result of that one note being different, everything else is just like a major scale. Everything else is perfectly ordinary in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You know, it's all totally normal, except for that third note. And after you hear how that third note is like out of place, it then makes all of those other notes that seem ordinary sound odd. Yeah. And there's a lot of other soundtrack stuff that has delved into that scale that's very effective and very interesting.
Yeah, hearing that, I'm thinking of the piano bit at the beginning.
Exactly that. There's like that just one like weird thing where it's like, okay, this is odd, and it makes everything else that ordinarily would have sounded happy. All the fa, sol, la, ti, dos.
Now it sounds dark.
Yeah, because that one thing was out of place, which I love. I think that really fits into this town where everything looks normal and scenic and beautiful, and there's kids that go to school and hang out in the streets, and there's adults that work their jobs and come home and yada yada, but everything's a little fucked up, which is basically every town, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true of every town.
Everybody's acting like everything's normal,
but it's not.
But it's not normal at all, man. So good.
Yeah, I love this movie.
I really, really enjoyed it. You got anything else you wanna cover? Any more thoughts or anything before you get into the review phase?
No, I think we've gotten deep into this one, and
getting all up in that movie's guts. Yeah, getting up in them dead-like guts.
There's not much I would change about this at all.
Bev and Mike,
I would improve Bev and Mike, like make them more human, like the white male characters.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Maybe just make
it that way. Yeah, right. Maybe.
Give him. Mike just doesn't have a whole lot to do.
No,
except get hit.
Yeah.
And then Bev, I would like to see her be a bit stronger.
She's so charming and wonderful on screen.
Yeah, such a great actress.
I wish they would have had that come through as strength.
Yeah, that would have been nice. But those aren't big, huge complaints, honestly, in comparison to, say, other movies where they're a lot more issues, and they don't have good minority or female characters. But it is a knock on it for sure. I think for me, just grading this, I give Mandy a 9. This is more fun to watch than Mandy, but I'm a 9.
Yeah.
I'm just 9 in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be alive. It's a time of 9s.
Have a 9, I say.
I can't really argue with you about that at all. I think that it is, again, even despite the flaws that I've talked about, it's just such an enjoyable watch. We've talked about a lot of movies where I've been like, it was amazing, but I can't see myself watching it over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, Hereditary is a 10, but it's like,
it's hard to watch.
I'm not going to watch that any old time.
Yeah.
Mandy, I'm going to have to be in a mood for,
Very specific mood.
Yeah, but this movie has enough great visuals, beautifully shot movie, great soundtrack stuff, great acting, great humor, and great scares that I'm like, I just kind of want to turn this on just about any time,
Yeah, if this was ever on, there's no reason I wouldn't just sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's over 2 hours, it's fun. It's a fun movie.
It's one of those for me that is honestly kind of in that same hood as like, the first Elm Street.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of those where it's like, is it perfect?
No, but it's infinitely watchable.
But I love watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like this is my third time watching it. I was more critical about it this time, but I still just had a great time watching it, and the time flew by. It's like a 2 hour and 15-minute long movie, but it just seems to go by so fast. And I'll revisit it in the future just to spend time with the personalities and dynamics of those kids, because it's so enjoyable and so realistic, and it makes me think about being a kid in the 80s and shit. Of course, my experience is very different because I was homeschooled and shit.
True.
But it's my idealized version of what that hang would have been. Yeah, I'll watch this movie time and time again. Really, really enjoyed it. I think, I think I'm probably with you. I think it's like a 9. 9! I think that if it would have had those little tweaks to characters like Mike and Bev, I think that it could have been, close to a 10 for me. But as it stands, I'm gonna toss this thing a 9er.
Awesome.
So stoked to watch It Part 2, hopefully this week.
Yeah. The hope is we'll be doing a mini-sode. That'll come out Friday, maybe.
Fresh thoughts. Right as soon as we watch it, we'll go record a little mini-sode, assuming we get to see it, which I don't really see why we wouldn't. We like to stay hot off the presses and on top of the horror community with this kind of stuff.
We're on the pulse.
Boom. Got our fingers on the pulse of that motherfucker. So hopefully you guys will be listening to an It Part 2 review, a mini review here very soon. So be sure to stay tuned for that and go watch that new one. Give them your money. We want lots of money going towards good horror films, y'all.
For real.
Give them your money. Tell them that you want more. Okay? Okay, so next week we're going to be talking about another very relevant horror movie. But before we tell them about that, we got to tell them about our Patreon and social media presence.
Check us out at Dead Lovely Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
Do it.
Dead Lovely Horror Movie Podcast group on Facebook.
Do it.
We got a Discord server. You want the link? Ask.
Do it.
Patreon.com/dead and lovely.
That's right.
Go on over there.
Do it.
Give us money. There are 3 tiers right now. We'll probably come up with something in the future, maybe a $10 tier or whatever. Right now, $1, $3, and $5. Go over there. If you give us $5 a month, you get to submit a movie title that we will then randomly draw from.
A swan's ass.
A swan's ass. We've done it for the past few months. We've done a number of patrons movie suggestions.
They've been good ones too. You guys are awesome. Making some good choices for us.
So we're more than happy to cover that movie you've been wanting us to cover.
That's
Just
right.
head on over there.
And look at it this way. This is, I think, episode 127 of the show.
25.
125. You guys have gotten a whole lot of hours of horror movie expertise.
That is true.
Maybe it's worth $1. I don't know.
Maybe so.
And to make you guys feel like your efforts are actually going towards something, this week we should be finalizing orders for our very first run of Dead and Lovely t-shirts.
T-shirts coming.
Booyah.
Woo, woo, woo.
With the awesome original logo that Jacob Long from Longworks Designs created, the kind of blue and teal logo that everybody knows and loves.
Everybody. From sight.
That's
People
right.
across a large conference center would be like, that's a Dead and Lovely shirt over there.
I know that brand.
Don't go down that road.
I wonder what accent we are doing now.
Hey, It's me, John Cleese. Oh,
John Cleese?
yeah,
He's
John
British.
Cleese. He's British. I'm in John Lithgow.
I was thinking this is somewhere in between like John Lithgow and Jimmy Stewart.
It's Jimmy Stewart Lithgow.
It's John Stewart.
John Stewart. I host the Daily Show.
Don't go down that road. They didn't even start go down that road in the Pet Cemetery.
That
So
was
dumb,
a bit of a
man.
disappointment.
What a letdown.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so your all's patronage is going to good efforts. It's going to be rewarding you guys in the very near
Hell yeah.
future when we get this run of shirts done. Thank you guys so much for all of your wonderful and loyal patronage. We appreciate you guys. Be sure to rate and review on iTunes as well to help us stay on that, iTunes Top 50 TV and film chart that we're
Hell
currently on.
I know, it's crazy.
Holy fuck.
That's the
if we don't
craziest.
get more reviews, we might just float away.
We all float down here.
P.S. I thought it was cool that all the kid corpses were floating.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
And also too that every time Pennywise got injured, his blood floated up.
Yes, what was about that?
Like no matter where he was, everything always floated up.
Always floated.
I thought that was really cool.
I hope they explain that somehow.
I mean, he's an alien, so I'm just like Earth
He's
gravity
got that
doesn't really
anti-gravity
apply.
blood.
Yeah, I think so. Which P.S. Okay, one more thing.
Okay.
About it. The clown dance.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
That was a little bit weird, yeah.
I didn't like it personally.
Okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was super creepy and fun, but I get what you're saying. It was a little out of, why would he do that?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I kind of file into that same category of, creepy children singing children's songs or tiptoe through the
Right.
tulips. So I'm just like, okay. Like there's that whole you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll die thing before that. And I'm like, that's a little cheesy.
Yeah.
That just doesn't work for me. Apparently a lot of other people liked it, but not me.
Yeah.
So anyway, what are we going to be talking about next week on the show?
I got a devil's rejects on my pod.
Oh, you don't say. Dude, is that Beck?
It's back, yeah.
A little devil's haircut action, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, noted Scientologist.
That's true. Noted Scientologist Beck.
Wow.
He's one of the best live shows I've ever seen.
No
Is
doubt.
Beck, yeah. Mhm.
Scientologists are weird.
They are. It's true.
I know a guy that used to work on Beck's crew,
Oh, yeah.
and he confirmed that...
He's a weirdo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Beck specifically had a Scientologist bus and a not Scientologist bus. that he would tour with.
Oh, Jesus.
That's
Don't
a
want those
thing.
suppressive people, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you can't be having those around. Ooh. Ooh. All religion's a lie. It's all a lie.
It's crazy
all of
as
it.
shit.
So next week, in celebration of the hopefully good
Three from
Rob
Hell?
Zombie movie 3 from Hell, I
Yeah.
hope that it's good.
I mean, it's coming out for only 3 days in theaters, but they've let critics see it, but they haven't allowed them to write a review of it. But the one critic that I saw who kind of found a little loophole around talking about it without saying it said that didn't make sense because the movie's good. They shouldn't have been
Wow.
worried about it because it is worth watching.
A
So
glowing review. The one reviewer that was not allowed to talk about it kind of said maybe it was good.
yeah, but he couldn't say it outright because if he said it outright, he gets sued. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I hope that it's great. I love Devil's Rejects. We watched House of a Thousand Corpses
Earlier
a couple
this year,
months ago. Yeah. And we're not exactly historically giant Rob Zombie fans.
I like his Halloween movies.
'Kay, yeah.
I don't think that they are better than a John Carpenter Halloween movie, but I think that they're entertaining. And for me, they're better than 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I can't argue with that. Yeah. You are right.
But he
about
does
that.
have. 31 was terrible.
I've had a lot of dentist exams that were better than
31.
31 or those later Halloween movies.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I once sat on my balls, and it was better than Halloween 6
Yeah.
for sure.
I once sat on your balls and it was
It
better.
was better than Halloween 6. Yeah.
So hopefully this new one will turn out good. 31 was absolutely one of the worst movies I've
It
ever
was terrible.
fucking seen in my life.
Yeah.
So hopefully he is able to channel some of the goodness that he came up with in Devil's Rejects, because I really like this movie, and
Yeah.
it's been years since I've watched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
It
excited
holds
to
up, I
revisit,
think.
and check it out again and see if it's as good as I remember, especially under the critical glare of the podcast eye.
Oh.
So you guys be sure to tune in next week where we'll be talking about the Devil's Rejects. Check out our House of a Thousand Corpses episode if you want to find out our opinions about that one. It's from a couple months ago. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking around and listening to us jibber jabber about old Pennywise and company on this week's episode of Dead and Lovely. You guys be sure to tune in next week for another slice of fried gold. You guys will be there. We'll be dead
and lovely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Does Two Live Crew really want someone to nibble upon their dicks like a rat on cheese?
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
I'll be honest with you, most everything that happened in a Two Live Crew song sounded pretty awful.
Yeah. Do it, but with more teeth this time.
Yeah, more teeth. What?
Said nobody ever, I'm
more
pretty
teeth.
sure.
Can I get more? And I want to think about our rodents while this is happening. That's gross.